we go. Recording in progress.
Fancy.
That's the first time it's ever done that. That's
Really?
hilarious. Yeah, it's never done that to me before.
I'm not techno savvy at all, so I'm not good with Zoom. I'm always like, hold on, I'm one of those people.
I know. It's interesting. So Brittney,
Yes.
hello.
Hello.
I was thinking earlier because we've talked a lot for a few years now.
Yeah.
And so just to introduce you a little bit and how we know each other, Brittney and I work together, and she works in another department, so this is literally the first time we've ever spoken face to face, which is hilarious to me. I'm sure I've seen you in passing in like those big group meetings.
Probably.
Yeah.
Now I wish I could remember.
I know.
I usually like blink out at those.
Yeah, it's kind of like, let's just get this over with and move on with our lives.
Just kind of like white noise it out a little.
Yeah, exactly. But and I was trying to think the other day, because like you work in a department that works with my department, and we won't give away too many details. And so you have to send me emails sometimes. And I'm sitting here thinking, how did we go from talking about money to crystals and anxiety attacks and ghosts?
And
like, what was the transition?
You know what? I was thinking about that the other day too, and I was like, I don't remember, but it was amazing. Whatever happened, it was meant to be.
I know. I think we must have had a problematic issue, and then we just started
like venting.
Yeah, probably one of those weird issues that we couldn't figure out, and then we started cracking jokes, and then that's usually how it works.
Yeah, it was amazing from there.
Yeah, but at any rate, this is so cool to finally talk to you face to face. How fun!
So great. And we live close by each other too, which is even easier. So hopefully, when things like die down, we can get together in person and get lunch or something.
Yeah. Well, but I also know that both of us are like anxiety people. So it's like
lots of people, yes.
Yeah, that's funny. I was thinking this too, because they're moving to the new location at work. I'm like, some of my friends I'll never see again, probably.
I know, it's crazy. Because I finally got approved to like work from home full time, so
Fantastic.
I won't go to the new building.
Yeah,
but like unless like for meetings and whatnot.
Sure.
I won't be seeing a lot of people like you usually do.
Yeah, and I was thinking too, like, I hope that they continue allowing people to do virtual meetings, because that's a long haul for us to drive. That's very far.
I'm not looking forward to that. That was my main goal even before.
I know.
Happened. I was wanting to work from home because I'm like, I don't want to drive that long way.
Even though it's far.
Super. Yeah, it's far, especially with traffic. Ugh.
Yeah. And it's just such a strange situation now too, because of the transitions going on, not only with moving buildings, but like the department and everything. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, gosh, I'll probably literally never see some of my friends ever again.
Really? Like, even for meetings, they won't like have
because they're getting rid of everybody.
Are you still everybody?
Well, not everybody, but a lot of people. Yeah.
I can't believe they're doing that. That like blows my mind, because you guys are a major part of the corporation, especially for my to get things done.
It's gonna be wild. I don't know how it's gonna work. I mean, none of us know what's gonna happen. So yeah, it's really, and we have such a tight team too. So I mean, first of all, we haven't seen each other because of the pandemic, but then now this whole transition thing's gonna happen. And it's going to be pretty weird. And like the next time I do have to go in, it's going to be a completely new building. I'm going to have no idea where to go, where to park, what to do. I still have the old badge.
I was going to ask you, like, do you know what we need to do with the new badge? Because we're not going in. I'm like, what do we?
I know.
Where do we even go? I don't. That gives me anxiety. I'm like, oh, crap. Whenever I have to go.
I asked my supervisor. I know. That's what I'm saying. I hope they continue to let us come in virtually, but and hopefully this whole situation has changed things to where they'll allow that.
I know she wants to leave, but this is Chloe.
Oh, she's so cute. She sort of looks like my dog. Yeah. Mine's around here somewhere.
Yeah. She's a multi-food. Her sister's on the other side of the door. I gotta let her out real quick. Sorry.
It's okay.
Come on. You can come and go as you please. Sorry.
That's okay. We're casual. I asked my supervisor if they were going to mail us full-time people our badges, and she said she'd find out. So I should actually remind her about that, because yeah, I mean, who knows when the next time we'll be in there.
Yeah.
And they won't have a badge ready for us. So
no, because they kept. I watched that video. They did that live stream.
That was funny.
Yeah,
yeah.
it was like
I liked it.
Yeah, I think the funny part was how they kept hearing like the echo.
Yeah.
They just would stop, and I'm like, cringeworthy.
I know. I love that crap though, because it's so cheesy. I love it.
Oh.
I live for it. And Michael used to be on my team.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's always fun to see his videos.
Yeah.
So yeah, work. Yeah. I'm glad we're finally hanging out. And like, we actually set this up a long time ago too. So it's been a long time.
I'm so glad. It's so good to see you in person and talk.
I know. How funny.
It's a nice change.
So I did listen to one of the recordings that you sent to me as I was painting yesterday, because I'm like, I'm never going to have time at this point to just stop and actually do what you're telling me to do, like lay down and chill and all that stuff. I will get there, but this week wasn't it. So I did listen to one of the recordings while I was painting yesterday. And first of all, that was nice, because to be painting and like kind of listening to that meditation type stuff at the same time was, I thought, very cool. And I definitely am like, okay, I can definitely see how this would absolutely help, because it's so calm. Like your voice is so calm, and the music was so nice and just chill, and like, it's like a guided meditation. I guess I don't know what I thought it would be, but it's just more like a guided meditation, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's what it is. I think it's so bad because I think movies and like stage hypnosis give it such a bad rap.
So I guess explain what you do, because I never even did that. So
well, I'm a trained hypnotherapist now, but I'm still continuing my schooling. I'm like in this program to like get more advanced techniques. My goal is to learn how to do past life regression, and I haven't learned that yet. I get to learn that in August, so I'm super excited about that. But that was my main goal for all of this, was to learn how to do that. And but it's from all my classes and what I've learned, it's just a way to I hate the word saying reprogram, but it's just a way to help you take control of your thoughts, beliefs, and help you get a better perspective in life. And also it's like you said, it's a guided meditation where you do like positive visualization. So you could do more metaphorical, or it could be like more literal, more direct, if that's what the client wants. If they don't really connect to the metaphorical part, be more direct. And it can cover all sorts of different things, stress management, self-esteem, trying to think, weight management, pain management.
Literally all of it.
Everything.
Check.
I know, and I try to do it on myself, like do self-hypnosis. And sometimes it's easier said than done, or you don't have time, like you said. It's hard to fit that in to like quiet down the mind and like not interrupt it either. But I think it was perfect, Well,
and plus, because I mean, I want to take it seriously. It wasn't, I want to actually try it, not just like, oh yeah, like half-ass or whatever. And so, I mean, I am going to do it. I really am. At some point, going to lay down in my bed or in the bathtub or wherever I end up getting the time and doing it, because I really do see how, because my voices are all negative in my head, all of them, all the time. Even if like my brain will say something awful and then my other side of my brain goes, knock it off, it's still there. And so having like somebody else's voice go, you're good, you're blah, blah, I don't know. I mean, of course, hearing positive things is always a good thing, but
it feels good to hear it. And then, so that helps you kind of train. I hate that word, train or reprogram. It helps you maybe give more motivation to have better self-talk about ourselves, which is hard because you always have that like almost negative egotistical voice in the back of the head being like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's where the hypnotherapist comes in and say, well, you have like a discussion before you do the session, and you kind of question them. And like, so why aren't you that? Like, it's a lot of kind of diving deep
Right.
into the whys and trying to find that root issue of like, so
Right.
why do you think that? Why are you feeling that? What was the situation when that happened? And
Right.
so it's really, I think it's interesting and fascinating, just like it's about the mind
Yeah.
and what you can do to overcome it and take control.
Yeah. And because it's like, I don't know. I don't know where those voices come from. Like, and what, because there's, some people seem like to have all this confidence. I don't know if it's a fake confidence, or they really are that way, or it's like an inflated ego. That happens too. But it's such a strange thing. Like, when I meet people who aren't like crippled with insecurity, I'm like, how are you not crippled with insecurity? What are you, some mythical being? I don't, it's very
Could I
strange.
bottle up some of that and take it?
Yeah, it's weird.
I know. I don't. It could be fake it till they make it kind of thing, or
That, and there is some truth to that too. I think, that sort of just pretend like you know what you're doing, and then eventually you know what you're doing, I think. But
I know.
like you said, even if it's like a trigger, like what, you were saying about how not retraining, but even if it's that you recognize the pattern of your thinking, and so you can go, okay, I'm doing that thing again, so I think that's kind of what you mean.
Absolutely. Yeah. It helps you like, so if we talk about it, and then I can be like, okay, that might be even homework I would give to a client. Like, okay, anytime you hear that, you're going to stop yourself and say like a positive affirmation or a positive statement, instead of being like, oh no, I can't do it. No, I can do it. I can do this, or I am deserving of that, or there's a lot of different things you could do to help during the session. You can kind of say suggestions to help the client to remember that afterwards, and kind of like that would like anchor that feeling or sensation you had during the session, that you'll remember it afterwards. So it kind of pops up in your head and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that, and I felt really good, it felt really empowering, or felt happy.
Yeah. So when you do sessions with people, do you always do the hypnotherapy, like, or do you sometimes you just talk to people, or is it always they come in for that?
Usually it's for that, and it's, so far I'm starting out small, so it's been like close friends and family. So I'm starting out small, but yeah, mostly it is just for that, like just like hypnosis. So we'll have a discussion, kind of see what's going on, what they want to work on, and then kind of form the guided imagery or meditation around that. And you, like I said, you could do it more metaphorical, where it kind of comes where your subconscious comes in. So like hypnosis is, we get you in that relaxed state. So it's like between sleeping and awake, or very relaxed, where you can quiet down that overthinking, criticizing, like that left side of the brain. And your right side kind of takes over your subconscious, and that's when it'll listen, and you more imagery and the creative part. You can kind of go through the guided imagery, and that helps relax you, and then your subconscious is listening, even if you fall asleep during the session. I've had a couple people fall asleep, and I'm like, oh cool, that means they're still getting,
you're doing good. I feel like if you can relax somebody to that point, then, and still I'm sure we pick up sounds still when we're asleep also. So, like, have you ever fallen asleep with the TV on and had a dream related to that happens to me kind of often, actually.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I would feel like you probably still would get out of that, something out of that.
Oh yeah. And then afterwards, like when we're done, I'll tell them like, okay, you can wake up, you can open your eyes, give them a few seconds, or kind of keep saying, okay, you can wake up now, or open your eyes.
Pour a glass of water on them. Totally undo everything you just did.
Freak them out.
Get out. Hurry up. That's funny.
Yeah.
So that's super fascinating.
Yeah.
So how did you, like, what made you go, this is what I want to do?
It's crazy. I had the last 10 years, I've been doing like random like spiritual classes and
Mhm.
learning a whole bunch of different tools, and then I actually had a past life regression of my own
Oh.
like 3 years ago. I actually did two. I did one by myself and then one with my best friend where our lives were together.
Oh,
And
wow.
that was actually really funny. But because we both had a hard time concentrating and like we went
Yeah.
different lives completely. And then like my friend who does it, she was actually like my teacher and mentor too, but she had to like get us back into the same life. But doing that, like my own spiritual or my own past life regression, it was really powerful, I thought. And it,
Mm.
it explained a lot of what I was going through, because from what I've learned and what I feel personally is a lot of emotions or fears or things that we're dealing with in this life can be from a past life,
Mm.
and that we're dealing with it maybe unconsciously, but it's still an issue. So I had like these strong emotions or feelings and I didn't know where they're coming from. Like I felt like I
Mm.
was uh missing somebody and I was like heartbroken over it. And I was like, I don't know what this is about. Like I'm perfectly fine. I'm happy. I have everyone I love with me. And so then I did that. And the first life I went to was like I was a grieving widow almost.
Mm.
And it was like, oh, because it was crazy because I like started crying during the first part.
Yeah.
And my mom was there with me because she was writing down notes. So she was quiet, but she got to witness it.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
it was really crazy, but it explained like that feeling that I was having. And I wasn't necessarily a widow. My husband was in a war and he was like, he hasn't returned back yet, but I think
Okay.
he's dead or.
Yeah.
But then I fast forward a little bit and he came back and I was so happy. But like for some reason I was still holding on.
To the sad part of it.
The sad part, yeah. So it was
So
crazy.
you still have those feelings?
Not as much, no.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it helped kind of deal with explain why I was feeling that. I think I still had to work on how to release it.
So there's this word saudade. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it or not. I believe it's in Portuguese. And it's this feeling that's indescribable, like you're talking about, where you're longing for a place, a time, a situation that doesn't exist. And they actually have a word for that. And Hyreath is also a similar word meaning sort of the same thing, which I actually wrote a song about because using that word, because it's true. There's always this sort of longing for something that you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
like this place that doesn't exist, that you've never been, or people that you feel connected to that you're not really connected to, or whatever. And it's like this unexplainable thing. And like I've talked about this with other people too, like certain times and places, or scents, even like smells, can trigger this feeling of like almost like a timelessness, like you're someplace else for a second, or connected to some other time. Like it happens to me a lot at night if I'm outside walking, just looking up at the moon. I get this feeling like I'm out of time. Like it's this, not out of time like I'm running out of time, but like in some other time that I don't am not aware of, or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I always find that super fascinating, because it's like, are you somehow connecting to like energy in the air, or past life, or even through your own bloodline, like maybe somehow through your DNA you're connecting to some ancient person that you're related to, but you are connected to more than somebody else, or whatever. It's really fascinating to me.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. Like there's something there. It's you almost can't touch it in a sense. And
Yeah.
you
And
know
and you long for it.
absolutely, where you're like, I don't know where this is coming from. Why am I wanting
Yeah.
that? Like, what is it? I don't even know.
Yeah. It's interesting too, and this is sort of connected to that, but You're quite a bit younger than me, so you don't probably remember the 70s. Were you even alive in the 70s?
No.
You weren't alive in the 70s.
No.
I'm like so out of touch with who's what age and
I was
whatever.
born in the 80s.
Yeah. So okay, but you'll get it from the 80s then. Don't you have this weird feeling when you think about the 80s? Like there's a feeling that doesn't exist anymore that existed in the 80s, and it's the same for me in the 70s. It's like this ethereal vibe that doesn't exist anymore. And it's more than just, you're not just remembering yourself, but just the actual vibe of time and place. Isn't that such a weird thing?
It is. I feel like every like decade, it changes dramatically, and you're like, it's
Yes.
completely different energy,
Yes.
different vibe, and and you almost kind of long for it because it just seems
Yes, it feels
simpler.
comfortable.
Yeah, it's comfortable and simple. I feel it's simpler and more actually satisfying in some ways, just like little things. Like I'm not a huge fan of like all the technology nowadays. Like I'm just I mean it's wonderful.
A love-hate thing.
Yeah, it's a love-hate thing, and I'm like, I don't need all that.
I
Like
know.
I'm like so bad. I'm not a social media person. I only have Facebook and like Pinterest and like YouTube. That's about it. But my friends are always like, you need to get Instagram. I'm like, no, I'm okay.
I know. I do all of it, and I love aspects of it and hate other aspects of it. You know, like I think about, it's so funny. I found one of my old cell phones in my one of my drawers the other day, so I gave it to my son, and he's like looking at it, and it's like the old kind with the keyboard on it, you know. And that was fancy when that thing came out, because before you had to do the numbers, and remember you'd have to like,
that was you had to hit it like 3 times.
And then you screw it up, and it's such a mess. But we were laughing about it because first of all, the cell phone looks ancient now, and it's really not that old.
No,
it's not. But Mike was like, yeah, he's telling Dirk, yeah, we didn't get on the internet with our phone until we got smartphones. And I'm like, you couldn't get on the internet with your phone until we had smartphones. Like, that seems so archaic now, but it was like really only a few years ago. It's so weird.
It's crazy. I remember all the different phones, like, and it just had like the white screen or even like the black screen with like the green lettering, like our computer system.
Like yes, like AS400.
Yes.
Hilarious.
Every time I'm like, oh God, I'm so glad you don't have to do the number thing anymore, and you get to put like smiley faces, like
and like the predicative text or whatever, you put in one letter and it fills in the rest of the sentence for you. You're like, all right, well, I haven't quite graduated to that level of laziness. I'll still type out the word, but because I'm old.
No, I still well, because the spelling autocorrect. Sometimes I screw it all up, and I'm like, I'm just not even gonna go.
I know.
That way.
I know. Some spell check makes me look so stupid sometimes. I'm like, I swear I know grammar.
Yeah, sometimes I'll do that. I'm like, I did not mean to say that. It's maybe even inappropriate. I'm like, that wasn't me. That was autocorrect.
I love those memes that come out every once in a while with texts that were texted wrong. And some of them are like really filthy. Hilarious.
I know. That's the best. So that's one good thing about the internet and on social media. You get to see all the funny stuff. That's all I want it for.
Yeah. Memes is pretty much the only reason to be on the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Memes and like looking up, your health stuff and convincing yourself you're dying of cancer.
Wikipedia.
Over everything.
Damn it.
Yeah. What is that? What is the one with all the medical stuff on it? I can't think of it. What is it called?
Everything. Oh God.
What is it?
WebMD?
Yes, WebMD. Everything's cancer. No matter what it is, it's cancer.
You're gonna die, or you're gonna have excruciating pain. I'm like, great. I'm up all for the rest of the night, freaking out.
Now you have anxiety.
Exactly.
On top. And actually, 90% of all my symptoms typically are related to anxiety.
Froze.
Oh, you are froze. All right, it'll pop back on in a second. Let's just dance here while we're waiting. Oh no, you're froze. This is hilarious. All right, let's see if she's gonna pop back in. All right, you're froze. Let's see, where are you in here? Do, do, do. Oh, I'll probably get copyright struck for that. Hopefully she sees my text message. Oh, okay, she must have went out. She's gonna come back in. Hello. Do, 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 do. Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. Hey, see my selenite back there? Pretty cool. See how it's glowing? That glowing thing? That's selenite. That's also selenite. Hopefully she'll come back in. Otherwise, I'll end this. Here. Let's see if I can get this. Look at this. Cool, right? All right, well, I'll give her a couple more minutes or seconds or something. Let's see if she's gonna email me. Oh, I can't whistle either. I'm gonna get copyright struck. Is she coming? No. All right, I don't have an email from her. Buzzkill. How you guys doing? There she is. Yay.
I'm sorry. I don't know.
It's okay. No, it happens. I just sat here and entertained the troops while you were.
Okay.
I was hoping that you would go out and try to come back in and then it would work.
I was like, dang, every time I try to connect, I'm like, I'm just gonna log out of the damn thing and log back in. That worked.
It happens sometimes. We've had to end a couple that way.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it happens.
How's your family doing?
We're all good. Trucking along. Yeah. We're just waiting for the little one to be able to get vaccinated, and then we'll have total peace of mind, you know.
And then he'll go back to, are you gonna have him go back to school then?
Yeah, he's gonna go back to school anyway next fall.
That's good.
But yeah, I would really like for him to be vaccinated first, just so that we don't have to even worry about it, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, everyone's healthy and safe. That's always the best.
Yes, because we've been this whole time, you know, stayed pretty isolated and did everything we possibly could to stay healthy. So I would hate for that, you know.
Yeah.
To send him back to school and then have him get sick, but
no, you definitely don't want that. It's crazy world nowadays.
Yeah. How are you guys?
Unfortunately. Oh, good. Thankfully, knock on wood, everyone's good and healthy. And yeah, the same thing. We just, you know, keep to ourselves and.
I mean, we did that before.
Yeah. Exactly. It's funny, those memes where it's like, oh, an introvert, it's not much changed. So
yeah, really, not much has changed.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's totally fine. It might have maybe worsened my anxiety in large crowds, but.
Yeah, I know. That's the only, like, because I've worked from home, like I've been working, I'm coming on 10 years working from home.
Oh, wow.
So I used to get anxious when I did have to go into the office because I'm not used to being out of my element anymore.
Yeah.
And so this is only going to make that even worse, I think.
You know what, that happened with me. I had to go somewhere. It was like a really large crowd and I was with my nephew and I was like, we need to get out of here. Like, I was like, we need to move out of this area because I was getting overwhelmed. I was like, nope.
Yeah, I'm like, I hate that. And like, I don't know why this happens. So my son does karate and like at the end of each session, like it'll go however many weeks. And at the end of the sessions, they do the belt ceremony and they always have like a little demonstration or whatever. And like all the kids are there and all the parents are there. And so back a few years ago when I started having all these hormonal related anxiety attacks. So there's really nothing I can do about it. Your hormones going like this and then your body reacts to it. When you don't know that's what's going on,
Feel
you
crazy.
think I'm dying or something. You basically think, oh my God, am I having a stroke, or like what the hell's going on?
Yeah.
So anyway, we went to one of these karate things one time and that happened. And so now I have a mental trigger worrying that it's going to happen the next time it happens. So we haven't had to do any of those this whole time because they've been doing karate outside.
Oh, that's nice.
And so it hasn't been like in a gymnasium and stuff. And so I didn't get that anxiety because we're just standing outside in a park at night because the lessons are at night and everything. And so now, like, they're getting ready to move them back indoors. And I'm already going, I hope I don't have that thing. It's like, meanwhile, it's like 6 weeks away or something. But your brain is so programmed to like be worried about that stuff, And then, of course, you cause it to happen.
Oh, yeah. The anxiety and overthinking of it makes it worse. You're like, calm down. No, I'm fine.
Yeah, it sucks.
Oh,
Our brains are so annoying. They really are.
That overthinking, critical like judgment, like it just goes over and over and then makes it worse.
My doctor even told me that with IBS, like people who have IBS, if they've gone someplace before and gotten sick there, the next time they go, they usually get sick again because their brain is your brain is triggered to release whatever chemical causes your body to do its thing. And he's like very common. Like if you went to a certain store, had a stomach issue, next time you go there, your brain is probably going to do the exact same thing. Like that is fucked.
That is. It's like, why does that have to happen?
I know, it's so weird. Like it's so annoying.
Just it adds more stress because if once you find that out, you're like, well, crap, something's gonna
literally. But yeah, it's like people who've never really had anxiety, they just think you're stressed out. And it's like, no, stressed out is not the same thing as an anxiety attack. Stressed out, you can calm yourself down. You can. Anxiety attack, your body is having a physical thing going on and you can't control your physical thing. Like I can't make chemicals in my body stop doing what they do. Yeah. You know what I mean? I can go lay down and rest and calm down. I can't make chemicals stop doing things in my system. And so, that, I mean, you go through it too. So it's like, it's a frustrating thing because logically you can say, okay, I'm having an anxiety attack, but that doesn't make it go away. You still have to deal with the physical effects of it, Yeah. It helps in a way because you're like, okay, I'm not actually dying. I just feel like I'm dying.
Yeah. Or overwhelmed.
I
just feel overwhelmed of like emotions and stuff. Like I feel like I just feel everyone else's energy and it like I can't breathe for a second. I'm like, I gotta get out of here.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, you can't explain it almost either. Like it comes up and you're like, oh God, this isn't good.
Yeah, because you feel it come, like you feel when it starts to come. For me, it's always either my tongue feels funny or I get this prickly feeling on the back of my scalp. And I'm like, oh, here it comes. Like those are always the triggers for it. My tongue feels weird. And then I get that prickly thing on the back of my scalp. And then of course it like rushes through your whole body. The awesome thing about being a girl is that your hormones are up and down constantly when you get to my age. So and I've seen charts, my gynecologist actually showed me a chart. They did a study with like a whole bunch of women, and every single day they drew their blood and measured their hormone levels. Women from their teens to like 20s, teens and 20s, their lines were like this, and then during their period it would go like that, and then it would come back down and it would be even again. Women through menopause, of course, straight line all the way across. Women in my age bracket are literally like this.
Gosh.
And so how do you balance that?
Yeah, because you're having high glucose, you're feeling crazy, you're like, what the?
Yeah. And even if you try to take stuff for it, but if your hormones are going like this and the pill's just like this, how is it, like they tried putting me on birth control pills for it. Theoretically, it's supposed to work, but my body doesn't like those hormones either.
No, I was
So then it caused a whole other thing, so it's just a mess.
Yeah.
And so I just don't take anything for it. Like I take fish oil and like stuff that's like stuff you would get out of food,
That's good. Like, I think it's more natural. Your body will be more accepting of it. And like,
but other people find, progesterone cream supposed to help people. Like one of my friends is like, oh, you got to take progesterone cream. And it's like the natural one. So it's like made out of yams or something. I don't know. So I tried that. Well, my blood pressure went up. And usually that makes people's blood pressure go down.
Really?
My body is so dumb, dude. It doesn't like anything.
It's like, nope, not going to listen.
Nope, not going to help you. Nope, you're going to have to just suffer. Yeah, it's so weird. I had to go off that.
I'm so sorry. It's stress, and then it adds more stress and more anxiety because then you're trying to like, even it out, and then you're like,
and there's no rhyme or reason to it, so it's such a mess, dude. And I feel like women aren't told any of this, and so when it starts happening to you, you have no idea what the hell's going on. You think you're like something is seriously wrong.
Yeah, like
you're either dying. You've got some undiagnosed disease they haven't caught yet, or like.
I'm empty. Let's look at it.
Well, you've got cancer for sure.
That's what.
Or it's like, you're literally losing your mind. Like you have anxiety problems that just are off the charts, but it's really just that your hormones are crazy.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm roasting hot. I am cooking hot right now.
Oh God, get the AC on.
I know. Well, I have a fan like right beside my desk and I just turn it on because it's like I'm hot. Like the boys are always freezing in the house. And Mike's like, I don't dare turn the air conditioner down. I'm like, damn straight you don't dare turn it up, I guess. Because I'm hot all the time. Just hot. And this time of the year, girl,
Yes, it makes it even worse. You're like, I just want to
take a cold shower. You can't even take a cold shower. The water doesn't get cold.
You're just hot. I just want the air on you. Yeah. I felt a lot like that lately myself, where I'm like, am I the only one hot? Like I feel like I'm sweating or And then
so I'm sure you do this too, because people that don't live here don't get, everyone's like, it's a dry heat. Okay, first of all, F you with the dry heat. 110 is 110.
Really dry.
It's still hot. And plus, like monsoon season, the humidity level goes up. Anyway, so when you're in your house, if the air is actually running, you're cold. And then when the air goes off, you're hot. So you can't win. So like all night long, you're like off with the blanket, on with the blanket, off with the blanket.
Or like there's a sweet period in the morning, like where it's nice. You're like, ooh, yeah. And then later on, you're like, I'm so freaking hot. What the hell?
Yes, it sucks. Yeah.
And then,
but hey, it's a dry heat.
Oh, it's a dry heat. It's okay. Especially if you get in the nice air condition and then you go outside, you're like, oof, oven air. I think I just melted off my eyebrows.
I know. Like you can't even, like, you take your recycler across the street or whatever, and you need a shower by the time you come back in the house.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I haven't really been outside a lot this week, other than like take my dogs for a walk or like water plants. And I had to put new tags on my license plate. So I'm outside for maybe like not even 10 minutes. I come in, I'm like, it's so hot. Why is it hot?
I know. Like it's confusing every time. Why is it so hot? It's June.
I know. And it's crazy because I feel like every year it's getting like it's been cooler a little bit longer. And then that makes me worried. I'm like, oh no, that means it's going to be really hot. Like last year, like burned half the plants.
I know. Well, last year it was over 100 degrees clear till Thanksgiving, if you remember correctly. Yeah. It didn't cool off for a long time last year. Oh. And then it's like, okay, we'll get like 4 weeks of cold weather. And then it's back to,
It's like on and off too. Like it'll be really cold one week and then it goes
Yeah.
to like 80s. And I'm like, what the
Yeah.
hell is this?
Yeah. 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 And I like to be cold.
I do
So
too.
like when, I like to walk and stuff, like, of course that's done for this year. No way am I walking outside now, but
Oh,
even in the winter, there was very few days where I didn't, and I walk at night or super early in the morning, but there were very few days where I was comfortable in a sweatshirt,
yeah.
like, or a long sleeve shirt. Like most of the time I had a tank top on or a t-shirt, and it's like February and I'm out there walking in a tank top,
Yeah.
cooking hot.
Oh yeah. It was just weird. I feel like every other day was different. Like some days,
Yeah.
ooh, this is actually really chilly. And in the office here
And
or
it's so
working,
lovely.
oh God, I love it.
Yeah.
I will layer on blankets,
Yes.
have the
I
AC
love it.
on and a fan while it's in the
Yes.
winter time. Cause I'm like,
Yes.
that's what I want. I just want to be nice and
I
cold, layered
know.
up. And like this, I don't know why
Yes.
this room gets super cold, especially in the winter. And I
That's
love it. I'm
nice.
like,
I love that.
I'll wear little mittens if I need to while I'm working.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
Other than
You
that,
know,
yeah.
who even like, I think I wear socks 2 months out of the year here.
Yeah.
Besides that, I'm always barefoot. I don't wear shoes. It's always flip flops. Like,
Same here. I think I've had the same pair of flip flops for like 5 years. And I'm like,
Yes.
I think I need to get rid of it because like a tack went through it. And I thought it was a pebble from a rock. And I was like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. Still wear them anyway. They soldier on.
You just
It's
keep on
so
going. And that's all I wear is sandals and maybe tennis
Yes.
shoes. And like
Once in a great, when I walk, I put tennis shoes on. But
Yeah.
besides that, I have slides. They're not even flip flops. They're like thick, cheap ass slide.
That's the best though.
Yeah. Who cares?
I know.
Who am I impressing in this house? Nobody. I don't leave, so.
Same here. I'm always in a comfy shirt and sweatpants most of the time. I put a little makeup on for today, and that's been the first time.
Friday's like the only day I put makeup on, and before I started doing these, I never put it on. So
it was
sometimes when I would come into the office, because I'm like, oh, other human beings are gonna look at me.
Seriously, that's the only time I ever got like a little bit dolled up, like work. And I only went in like 2 days out of the week when we were going to work. And then when the pandemic hit and we're all home, I didn't touch my makeup for the longest time. I think I had to throw it away and buy some new ones because I'm like, it's like getting old and crusty.
I know. That's so funny. Yeah, and I'm always like, when they first started having people work from home, remember how they wanted everybody to turn their cameras on? Like to have meetings like this, and they quickly realized that was just stupid.
Yeah, no one wanted to do it, and it was like awkward. Everyone's quiet.
Everyone's like on mute, and they can't figure out how to,
That's the worst. You're on mute.
It's so dumb.
And then I think I did that like a couple times where I put makeup on, and after that, I'm like, you get what you get.
You get what you get, and you don't throw a fit. Yeah. Exactly. Like part of my job is I'm training people all day long. And I'm like, thank God they don't want this on video.
Oh,
First of all, I have a hard time controlling my facial expressions. So I fear that things would be interpreted, like when I'm like making face, I make faces all the time. And I'm like, I could just see people looking at my face thinking I was thinking things I'm not thinking or whatever. But I'm glad that I don't have to be on camera. And it was funny because one day I got into the meeting a little early and they were on camera. So I was like, oh, and they hurried up and shut it off. Like, I think they were, I don't know. I don't know if they thought they weren't allowed to do that or something. I don't know. But I was like, no, turn your cameras back on. I want to see what you look like.
Right. Did you turn yours on or no?
No.
You're like,
no, because here's the thing, because of my setup, we have the double monitors. Mm-hmm. And so if we open our laptops, it screws up our monitors and then it's like a whole issue. So no, I don't do it. But I was like, turn your cameras back on. I want to see what you all look like. And they wouldn't, of course. They were probably told they're not supposed to do it or something. I don't know. Aww. But anyways, they all, their lead got pictures of all of them and sent me their pictures. They're all so beautiful. They're like really young and like handsome and gorgeous. And like, like, thank God I don't have to be on camera with these people every day because they're so beautiful. And I'm over here like,
shut up. You're beautiful.
Well, whatever.
Yes, you
See,
are.
that's that brain thing we were talking about.
Change it. You are beautiful.
All right.
You're like, shut up. Wait, how is that training going?
It's going really great. I mean, it's really hard. You know, our work is super complicated.
I don't know how you guys do it. I'm always
hard
confused when I like have to research stuff. And I'm like, I'm going to the source.
Yeah, just ask. Yeah, because even just like, I mean, we have a really good manual that walks through step by step, but it's still confusing. And trying to figure out where you need to even find stuff in the manual is hard. And then there's a slight language barrier, not a huge language barrier, because they speak very good English, but the way they structure sentences can be slightly different than the way we structure sentences. And so sometimes, like, now I know how they talk, like I know the way they speak. Yeah. So I don't have a problem with it anymore. But in the beginning, I had a little bit of a hard time interpreting sometimes what they were asking me.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I use a ton of slang. So sometimes I'll catch myself and I'm like, they probably have no idea what I just said, because it's some weird saying that we have over here that probably they have no idea what the hell I'm talking about. And I'll just start laughing, you know.
Like, what's going on?
Yeah, like I'll just straight up go, you probably have no idea what I just said. And then, you know, we laugh a lot. Like we get along really well and stuff, and I'm always cracking jokes, and they're really great. I love them. Like I love working with them. Like I'm already dreading when this period ends, for a lot of reasons, obviously, because I don't know if I have a job or not, but also because like I really love them. So I'm going to be sad not to get to work with them if I don't get to work with them anymore. I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see.
That's stressful thinking about. But I think if you're training them, I would hope they would, you know, keep you on like as like a lead or something.
It would help. I mean, I don't know. I think I'm going to be okay, but I don't know what my job responsibilities are going to be. I don't know if I'm just going to go back to coding or because they still are going to need some coders for like exception work that they're not doing. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to stay in essentially the same position or if they're going to move me someplace else. I have no idea. And my supervisor's not going to be with us?
No.
Yeah.
God, I'm so sorry.
I know, it's awful. This has been really awful. This last week, not this week, but the week before, when they told us some of the stuff, it was pretty crushing.
Yeah, that like, I just have like no words. Like it just pisses me off that that's happening.
I know, because it's one of those things where it's like, you guys talk about how much you care about your employees, but you're literally eliminating a department to save money. And you guys are already banking so much money above what we normally do. And yet you still want to make more at the cost of your employees' jobs. Yeah. Like it's hard to rectify that in your mind that these people supposedly care about you, but by the same token, not as much as they care about money. Yeah. So it's a little gross. It's like this is exactly what's wrong with our country. Profit over people. Yeah. And I hate it too because I love my new team. Like I love them, and I'm happy for them to have good jobs. You know what I mean? Like I'm happy for them. It's not their fault. They didn't do anything wrong. They need jobs just like we need jobs. I love that, and I love them, and I want them to succeed, and I hope to keep to work with them and everything like that. But by the same token, it's hard because I'm essentially training my replacement. Yeah. And my friend's replacement. Yeah, you know, so it's very strange. It's a strange feeling.
Hopefully it won't come to that. You know, like elite, like hopefully. I mean, but it's so hard. Like
it is.
Wish we could just know now.
That's the problem. It's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's what it is. Like if I knew what my job responsibility was going to be, or if I even had a job, then I could like, okay, I could make sense of this and I can be fine and prepare myself mentally. But the not knowing part is hard.
Yeah. And then
transition's always hard though.
Oh yeah.
You know, even good transition.
Yeah. Because I'm not a fan of change. So I have a hard
time. I hate it.
When change comes. Yeah. And I always try to think of it, I guess, in the positive, the glass is half full kind of way, where
sure.
It's going to, whatever happens, it's going to benefit me.
Yep.
Whatever.
And I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I really do.
Maybe I always think of a situation happens where it had to push me out of it because I wasn't going to do it. And so the universe was like,
that push hurts though.
It does. And it's hard sometimes to get over, and it's painful. But
it's hard because and you know, I was talking about this with my supervisor yesterday. It's like every time I've lost a job for whatever reason, either I quit or they downsized or whatever, I always wind up in a better position someplace else. And so, and that's probably universally true mostly for the most part. Yeah. Usually people lose a situation and gain a better situation. Mm-hmm. But it's still like that transition period and not knowing, that's the hard part. Mm-hmm. And then adjusting to whatever the new thing is, like, and that can be a long period of time, you know?
And it's scary, and you have that scare and fear come at you too. And they're like, and you know, adds up on the anxiety and stress and not feeling good and freaking out. And but then I always try to be like, okay, everything's gonna be okay. Yeah. I try to be the optimal optimist. Is that even a word?
That works, the optimal optimist. It's true though, it's hard, but you know, what will be will be. It's not like we can't really control it. So I just try to be cool, and I know what I'm doing today and what I'm doing tomorrow. I don't know what I'm doing beyond that, but we'll find out.
It's funny with my classes I've been taking, it's been really eye-opening, like how like that situation is like, you can't have control over the situations or the world, but I can control how I respond and react to it.
Right.
And how that I can respond in a more positive way where it'll lessen the effect or the stress factor, the pain of it.
Yeah, and I am optimistic about it. I mean, I feel like if I get to stay, I think I'll be happier with the position I have than I was before. Like, I already love training these guys. I'm very happy that I've gotten that experience. It was very scary, and it's still very stressful. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on it because if it fails, I'm the trainer. So, but you know what I mean? I don't know, but you know what I mean though? Because
it's a lot of like tension and a lot of on your shoulder. Like you have a lot of pressure and.
Yeah, but thankfully everybody, like pretty much everybody's like super supportive. I mean, all of them are. They all have been very supportive, but it's still scary. Mm-hmm. And then I'll do stupid stuff like, oh my gosh, I told them how to do something wrong today, right? I didn't know that I told them how to do it wrong. And then the one girl got an error and she's like, Tara, can we look at this? And I'm like, oh Lord. So I'm like teaching something wrong, and then I have to turn around and be like, no, don't do it like that. Do it like this. So I sort of made a joke out of it because this has happened a couple times where information in the manual was incorrect. Oh. And then I've taught that to them and then had to go back and fix it later. And so we have this joke now where I just go, I was testing you guys. I was just testing you. So that's like the new joke. I'm like, I told them today, I'm like, I was just testing you to make sure you were reading the manual.
What did they all start joking?
Yeah, we all laugh about it because I mean, I tell them, I'm like, you're going to make mistakes and you're never going to learn all this. You just can't. You really can't learn it all.
I'm like overwhelmed anytime I'm like researching something and I'm like, this, I can't. I'm going to go to Tara or someone else.
It's very confusing. It really is. And I'm like, I've been in this company for 14 years and I still don't know everything. Like you can't learn it all. You just can't. Yeah. And like, we're having to cram all of that into like a very short amount of time. Yeah. And have them be proficient enough to take over and succeed. That's like a tall order.
It is. But you know what? Your supervisor knew you can do it. So she gave it to you to do it. Yeah. You got the power to do it.
I'm doing the best I can. That's all I can say. So, and they're great. They're they're actually amazing. And maybe it's because they're young, but like I'll tell them something and it's like in their brain, like it's there.
Good.
Yeah, so that's, unlike me, who you could tell me something right now in 10 minutes and I'm like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Same here. I'm like, it takes me a while to get it sometimes. I'm like, I need like a visual, like I need to do it.
Yeah.
Or even they tell me it, I'm like, that's in one ear out the other. I'm not gonna
I know, it's awful. Like I'm horrible at names and stuff. I used to be so good at that. And then I think at some point with us like touring and stuff and meeting so many people, that switch in my brain got turned off where I used to be able to tell people I met you here, your name is this, you were wearing this happened, this happened, this happened. Now you could tell me my name or tell me your name and it will go whoop right around my brain and out the back and I'll never hear it. It will never register.
I am so bad at that too. Like anytime someone introduces themselves, I'm like, oh, hey. And then I think I'm too focused on like looking at them.
Yeah,
I don't
probably.
hear what they're saying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, shit, I don't remember their name.
Yeah. Because I study people. I'm sure you do the same thing. It's like I'm catching vibes off you and looking at your facial expressions and the vibe I'm getting off you more than I'm listening, I think. Yeah. I don't know. It's not good.
I know I'm so bad at that. I'm like, oh, I don't remember their name.
Like there's people at work that I've worked with for years and I still am like, what's their name? I don't know what their name is. Not on my team, thank God. But
but like in the area or
the
department.
People I should know.
I'm the same way. I'll meet them and I'm like, oh hey, like when we're in the office, I'll wave at them and I'm like, shit, I don't remember the name.
Mm-hmm. No clue.
Like please don't ask or have a conversation. I'll just wave.
I know. And like people will be like, work stuff telling me so-and-so said such and such. I'm like, I have no idea who they're talking about. Literally no idea. None. I don't know what position they're in, on what team they're on. I don't know anything. Yeah. It's crazy. But part of that is that I've been out of the office for nearly 10 years now. So I don't have daily interaction with people. And then so like I know you and some of the underwriters hint more than I know people in my department because I deal with you guys all the time. I don't deal with people on the other team that might have sat 3 rows down if I was in the office, Yeah,
absolutely. I'm the same way. Like there's certain people because you deal with them more on a daily basis, like through email and talking and like a little pitch, our little pictures that we have.
Yes. Yes.
But
I've Google searched people. Have you before?
I think a few.
Yeah. Like I've had IT people and I'm like, that guy was nice or that girl was nice. I wonder who they are. Google them. They never come up. Hardly ever does anybody come up.
I did like 1 or 2 people and after that I'm like, I couldn't find anything. And I'm like, well, okay.
Yeah. I know. Why don't they come up? I come up if you Google me. I'm all over the damn place. But that's funny though. Like, and it's not in a creeper way. I'm just because if they don't have a picture, like I'd like to put a face to a name.
That bothers me that there's not a picture. And I'm like, well, damn it, what do you look like?
I know. I need to know what you look like.
I wanted like a visual.
Yeah. It's funny too, because like sometimes like I guess I'm weird. I know I'm weird, but like if I have to be on the phone with someone in IT for a long time, I instinctively just start having a conversation. Like, hey, did you watch Game of Thrones last night? Or like I've had really great conversations with IT people before. And I'm like, that dude was cool, man. And then I'll go try to look him up just to be like, who is this person that I just had a really fantastic, because I always try to visualize, is it like some 22-year-old dude, or like, am I talking to like a 58-year-old old man, not old man, but
it's just nice to put a face to the name. And sometimes voices can be very
deceiving.
Yes, because you're like, I would never imagine that. No, like it's good or bad, but like you're like,
I love it. I love it.
Oh yeah.
That's how it kind of was with the people that I'm training. Like you try to get this visual of what they look like, and I mean, I didn't really have a set thing in my head of what I thought they looked like, but a couple of it, like the girls were very close to what I pictured in my head, but the boys are all these, like, the one guy literally looks like a model. I'm like, why are you people so good looking? What the hell? They're all like really good looking.
Oh my God.
It's so funny. We were all laughing about it.
Oh my, so all of them are like model type kind of
They're
people?
all really gorgeous. I'll forward you the picture.
I want to see this now.
I will. No, but they're all really good looking and like young. And what it's funny because our other trainer was out of the office last week, and so she asked me to kind of help them if they had any questions. So one of the girls was IMing me, asking for help and stuff, and of course I start talking to her like, non-business related, because that's what I do. And she just was asking me a couple questions, and she was saying she was going to her grandmother's house, and I was like, oh, that'll be fun to see your grandma. She's like, well, actually my grandma died, my aunt lives in that house or whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, I lost my grandparents a long time ago, I'm probably a lot older than you. And she's like, well, how old are you? And I'm like, oh, I'm 49. And she starts laughing like, ha, I'm only 22, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I'm old enough to be your mother. And so we were joking around like, okay, I'll be your American mom.
Oh.
And so now she IMs me this morning. She's like, hi, American mama, how are you doing today?
Oh, that
like,
is
this is so cute. But they're just super cute. Here's Dirk. Here's my American son.
He can come on in.
I said to her too, I go, yeah, I'll tell my family I have an Indian daughter. They'll be very confused.
Like, this is my beautiful Indian daughter.
Like, how did that happen? Never been to India.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's so cute. That's funny because I have every other job I've had, I've always had like a work mom.
I think, of course. But I think I definitely had that in my old jobs, but I'm older now, so I think I might end up being that person too. Other people, or at least the aunt, Well,
I'm either the aunt or I don't even know right now. I'm no one right now at our job.
Right. You're at home.
At my old job, I had a really good girlfriend. We met, it's odd, through all our spiritual stuff. Like, I saw a medium who she was taking classes from, and we were just randomly talking about it one day, and then we were like became the best friends after that. But
That's cool.
She always calls me her daughter, and we've been good friends ever since.
Yeah. That's cool. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important. You know how on our survey they always like, do you have a best friend at work thing?
Yeah.
I mean, it seems cheesy or whatever, but I feel like that's important to have those people that you can trust to vent to.
Oh, because you need a vent. Sometimes you just need to get it off your chest.
Yep. And you got to have those people that you can trust, that it's not going anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
If you say something that's maybe not okay.
It's funny. I've seen a couple emails accidentally get sent to me where people were venting. I was like, oh, that was not meant to be sent to me, but it was hilarious.
That's so cringe. Yeah, I love it. Like, as long as it's not me, I love that stuff.
I know. Yeah, I was like, it's not me, but it was funny because they were complaining about me. Well, not necessarily me, but it was about my department.
Okay.
And I was like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? Like, and I just laughed at it. And I sent it to my supervisor. I'm like, because we're close, we're friends, and I'm like, I just had to send this to you. It's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
She was reading it. She's like, wow. And then she highlighted another thing that she saw. She's like, I just thought we were both laughing about it.
That's hilarious. I love that stuff. Yeah. When I first started here, there was this girl on our team that was just not a nice person at all. She was really nasty and very like childish, like almost like teacher pet type person that would like tattle to the boss. But like in a childlike way, like they won't play with me, or like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And like, first of all, nobody's obligated to be your friend at work. Like we don't have to like you, and you don't have to like us. Like we're not required to ask you to go to lunch. We're not required to play with you on the playground, whatever. And I was completely uninvolved because I was brand new. So I didn't know the team dynamic and all this stuff. But I knew this girl was to be avoided, just vibes, right? And she was nasty to me. So I'm like, okay, I'll stay away from her. Well, one day she sent an email to the team or whatever, and it was like some stupid crap. And one of the girls replied all thinking she was only sending it to the one, and said some really nasty stuff. And I was living for it because I love that kind of stuff as long as I'm not involved in it.
Oh, yes, same here.
Yeah. And she was crying and like, ugh, and like went to the supervisor and everything. And of course, those girls had to apologize. But we're all looking at each other like, I see you.
Exactly.
You're right. You're right. She's got issues. She ended up leaving, but leaving the team shortly thereafter. But I'm just like, it's hilarious when you've got that person. We don't, thank God, we don't have any of that on my team now. But
Same here.
It's rough when you have one of those people.
Yeah.
And that person always gets treated like with special treatment. And to me, I'm like, if I was a supervisor and somebody acted like that, I'd be like, dude, you need to grow up and knock it off. Like, they're not the problem. You're the only one. So cut it out, you know?
It's just ridiculous how people act. Like, we're getting paid. This is our job. We're here a certain amount of hours to get our shit done and go home. Like,
yes. And like, who cares once you're off the clock, leave it.
Exactly.
As we sit here and talk about it for
on
our Friday night.
I know. Sometimes it's just good to get it off your chest.
Yeah, that's fun. Well, plus we've never hung out before.
I know, so this is perfect.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Okay, so back to the spooky stuff.
Okay.
We were going to talk about spooky stuff.
Yeah.
So you're also into sort of spiritual stuff too, and I was telling you that my initial sort of aversion to hypnotherapy was because I come from that occult past of like I never did it because I was always like I can't let my guard down enough to let something else come through me, and plus I didn't like that idea of letting something else come through me.
Yeah.
But my friends would do, like, you know, I guess you'd call it medium, you know, they were mediums or whatever, where they could kind of relinquish themselves and let other things speak through them. I know it sounds outlandish to people who don't believe it. They're just like, whatever, it's a crock of horse shit.
I believe
it.
But
when you know somebody and you know their personality and you know that they're not going to lie to you because you know that, and you can see a change, you can see it in the eyes where they're not there, something else is there. Ew, I got the creeps even thinking about that. So anyways, my initial aversion to hypnotherapy was because I know that you have to let your guard down, like, and you have to relax. And the only way to get to that is to let your guard down. And I have a really hard time. Maybe it's the Aries in me. I don't know, but I have a hard time.
Aries too.
Yeah. Okay. I have a hard time relinquishing control because of fear of something awful happening.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's normal to have, like, you know, especially what you've been through in the past and what you've seen.
Yeah.
That is something to, because we know there's good and bad in the world, like spiritual life.
Yes, sure.
And it's scary to think, oh, I don't want the bad coming in.
Yeah, right.
That freaks you out. But I hope the tape or the recording I sent you, did that kind of help you?
It did, because it feels like it feels like guided meditation. Not so much that you're relinquishing, you're still very present in it. You're just chilling out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that was, it definitely changed my perception of what it is.
That's good. I'm glad you are 100% in control during it. You're doing all the work and I'm just facilitating, help guiding you. And I get like, just like a guided meditation where there's certain, like we use suggestions that we would discuss beforehand that you want to work on, and it's your own verbiage that you'd want to use. And use that in the session to help kind of reinforce the changes you want to make.
Yeah, so and it's almost like you're being a cheerleader, but not in a weird, creepy way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's absolutely that, where it's like we're like cheerleading you on, but like letting you do it and just helping you along the way.
Yeah, so definitely, and I don't even know what I expected. I guess probably like you said, because of the way stuff is portrayed in the movies where they can take control over you and you're like not there and they've got you quacking like a duck. And
I hate that. Because it's so
funny. That's creepy to me.
Oh, I think so too. Like, or it's almost like a possession where you think, oh,
that's exactly what. Yeah. And I'm like, well, if you leave yourself enough to let somebody else control you, what's to stop something else from coming in, you know?
Right. And it's scary thought, because I'm possession stuff freaks me out. So I'm like, no. But with that, you're 100% in control, where we're just helping you like stop your critical thinking, where you stop yourself to.
It's like a trigger.
Yeah.
So
It's everything that we do. It's nice and calm. And you use some like counting techniques, like you go count down to 5 or 10
Yeah.
before and
Yeah.
afterwards. That's just to help you get in more of a relaxed state.
Yeah.
Deepening technique that you can use.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. And my husband just came in here for a snack. I was even going to have, I was even going to have him listen to it because he has a lot of stress. He has a lot of stress in his job and stuff like that. And I'm like, this would help him too, you know?
Yeah.
As a guided sort of chill out and like, yes, stop the negative thinking. And even if it does nothing more than make you go, oh, stop doing that.
Yeah. Or even relax you for that moment where
right.
You're at 20 minutes, or even like you said, at first you don't have to lay down and relax. I mean, you could be busy, but just listening to it kind of, maybe key words will pop in and be like, oh, that's really nice. And then you can work up to it. And then if you feel more safe too, where you're like you said, where you don't feel like it's a possession kind of thing, like you can have that me there with you if you feel more comfortable.
Yeah.
But it's nothing like that. Like you're 100%.
Yeah, it wasn't like it. Yeah, it's nothing like that.
Yeah, because it's so crazy. They like in the movies you see, it's all this crazy things, but I can never say anything that you're immorally or morally against. Like you go rob a bank. You're like, if you're against that, like, and I'm actually can, like I said before, use phrases and words that you want to make for your changes. So it's all about.
Well, and we talked about it before you even did those. You were asking, you asked me what kind of stuff that I was wanting to change and whatever. Like, where do I start?
I know, because I'm like, for me myself, I'm like, okay, I want to work on this and this and this. Like, oh shoot.
It's all the same though. I mean, we probably all have the same basic issues, I think.
You know what? It to me, from what I see, because I have to do like a lot of case studies and like how I would do the session and what like guided imagery I would use, and so I have to do a lot of that. And I think a lot of it comes down to like just self-love, like loving yourself and accepting yourself. And I think that's hard for everybody because we judge ourselves. We're our own worst enemy, and we just think the worst of us sometimes. So it's nice to see a lot of it. The core issue is just loving yourself, and a lot of medical conditions that we have. Like I know I have like stomach issues. We've talked about. And other things. And I had one of my classes I'm taking now was about that, like emotionally, what would that connect to? And there's different. I have to look through the book again. So much information I can't remember.
Yeah, right, of course.
It's like a lot of it interprets like emotional wise.
Yeah,
so,
of
like
course.
I had to do one on eating disorders. That was like my subject matter, and it came down to love. Like you're not loving yourself.
True.
You're not nourishing. You're not allowing yourself to be nourished with love and appreciation.
That's so true. Because I don't. I have like a whole thing with food and all that kind of stuff too. And it's like it's a definite coping mechanism, just like some people turn to alcohol or drugs or whatever, when you're feeling insecure or whatever. It's like that would be an eating disorder if you're using it to comfort yourself or when you're stressed out or whatever. Food is really hard because you have to eat. You can't just not eat.
Yeah. I think that's almost one of the worst addictions in a way, because you have to eat.
You can't quit it cold turkey.
No, you can't. No, that's something we need, and it's hard. That one's off, because I feel like I have like a lot of sensitivities of food, and then like that changes my whole
perception and relationship with it.
And then I'm like almost fearful of some foods because it makes me so sick.
Right.
And then it's just downward hill spiral.
Yes. And I'm sure you do this too because you have stomach issues and stuff. Like afraid to go places. Like I'm afraid to go meet people to eat or whatever because I never know how my stomach's going to react to food. And you don't want to be sick someplace. And it's like, I don't really want to be sitting in a restaurant and have stomach issues with people that I'm friends with, but like not, you don't need to know what I do in the bathroom. Like I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
you don't need to know that I'm over here like wanting to barf right now.
Yeah, or you're like in incredible pain.
Yeah,
Like, and then afterwards,
right.
you're like all like pain the rest of the night. You're in hell.
Yes, it's horrible. And so, again, and that adds to the social anxiety.
Mhm.
So it's like, it's just such an awful thing. It really is.
It is, and it's crazy because like how you said, ever since I started getting like food issues, like allergies or sensitivities, I don't want to go out to restaurants as much, and that's where all like everyone usually wants to meet. Let's go get lunch, let's go get dinner,
Right.
and it's like you're like, can we do something else? Where we're
Yeah.
not eating.
Right. Right. Or you end up just doing the same stuff all the time because you know that one specific thing doesn't bother you,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's really aggravating. And then, a lot of doctors don't really understand it either. Like, especially with this like girl hormone stuff. When you finally find a doctor that actually understands it, it's amazing. Like, for all my life, I've been like overweight all my life. They always tested my thyroid. I've probably had my thyroid tested at least once a year since I was 14 years old, because they always assumed I must have a thyroid issue.
Yeah.
Because my weight never matched my activity level and my food intake level, And so nobody ever figured out that I had PCOS because they weren't checking the right stuff.
Yeah.
And finally, like a couple years ago, a doctor checked my insulin level. I never had my insulin. They always checked your blood sugar level, your thyroid level, but they never checked my insulin level before. Well, my insulin level was like crazy high. So that right there is why you can't lose weight, because carbohydrates raise your insulin level. And if there's insulin in your bloodstream, you can't burn fat. So even if you're like exercising really hard every day, if you followed it up with like a smoothie, which is supposed to be healthy, or a banana or whatever, you're negating all the work you just did because of the insulin. So it's like a whole thing.
Oh, God.
And so, yeah. And so this whole, like, from the time I was a wee little kid, there's always been this whole like, well, you're just fat and lazy, and like you need to exercise more and eat less and blah, 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 blah. And you take that into your brain and you believe it because there's no other explanation for it, right?
You're being told that.
Right.
Worse.
And then to finally have an answer for it after, like, I think I was 47 when I finally got an answer to this age-old mystery of why my body's stupid. And excuse me. And it was just like, oh my gosh, this isn't my fault. Like, I've been blaming myself for this my entire life. And then the thing comes in where, okay, so now how do you fix it? So in order to lose weight with a person with PCOS, insulin resistance, whatever, you can't have carbohydrates, basically. Like, okay. So that means your diet is meat, which I'm like, about.
Yeah.
And vegetables, which make me sick.
Oh, no.
So it's so stupid.
Like, what the hell? What do I do?
Yeah. And so then you're like, okay, well, I'm just not going to eat. I'm just going to eat as little amount as I possibly can. And then, of course, that gets old real quick because then your blood sugar is low.
And you're just starving yourself.
It's crazy. Yeah. And so then you end up just going, fuck it. I'll eat whatever I want, which negates all the hard work you just put in. So it's like this whole big freaking drama.
It's a never ending story.
Yeah. So like if I was like Oprah and I could have like a chef and like a trainer, I would look fucking amazing.
I know.
But I don't have access to these things.
And normal people need to have this so we all can feel healthy, happy, and amazing.
Yeah. So it's this whole sad thing. And like, so I'm kind of at this point now where I try to do Taibo. I try to do it every day. Realistically now, like I was doing it every day. I did it every single day for like a month. I think I missed one day. And I actually really love it, but it's hard. So I have to mentally like go, okay, we're going to do this.
Yeah. Psyching yourself up to like, oh,
yeah, because I know it's going to hurt. You know what I mean? But realistically, like I've been doing it probably 4 or 5 times a week, which is still a win, right?
Right, yeah.
But I am not gonna give up my yummy coffee. I'm just not doing it.
No, I've
lived a tortured life this whole 49 years of whatever, And I feel like I don't know. I guess I need that comfort of that thing every morning, I guess. And I'm trying to rectify it in my mind to where I don't feel guilty about it, but it's really hard because again, I've been trained to associate food as the enemy. And so every time I eat something that I shouldn't eat, I literally hate myself.
Oh, same here. There's the complete guilt afterwards. And I'm like, oh, I regret eating. Like when you're eating, you're like, I regret nothing. And then afterwards, you're like, I regret.
Halfway through, you start feeling that like, oh shit, I shouldn't have ate this.
I shouldn't have done this.
Or sometimes when you're picking up, you're like, I really shouldn't eat this, but I'm going to eat it.
But then you eat it, you're like, this is so good. It feels amazing. Yeah. Afterwards,
yeah, it's awful.
It's awful. But like, you have like, how many cups do you have in the morning? Like 1, 2?
I go to either Black Rock, depending on what time I wake up, Black Rock or Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah.
And it's only 1 cup. That's like, I would put it as like a reward in a way. You're like, okay, because you have like, that's like, it's not even that bad. It's coffee.
I know, but have you ever looked at the calories?
Oh, no.
Because I don't get just like a coffee. It's got to be like, like if it's Black Rock. Well, my drink of choice at Black Rock was iced horchata breve, which was so good. But it's off the menu now because it was like a spring thing or whatever. I was so sick. I know. I went there this morning and I was like, or it was yesterday morning. I was like, okay, iced horchata breve. They're like, oh, we're out of it. And I literally went, no. And the guy starts laughing. He's like, I'm so sorry. I'm like, I'm so sad. That was my drink. It was so good.
Yes. Oh,
and butter pecan at Dunkin' Donuts. Butter pecan. Oh my God. So
I think I got that. I went to Starbucks one time. I think like their seasonal Christmas ones. I was trying it out, but like Black Rock, I always get the Irish cream.
That's what I got today.
Oh, I love that one.
Because it's a breve also. Yeah, that's got to be, that's what I had this morning. I had an iced breve.
Oh, it's the best.
Irish cream.
It's so funny because now I can't have a lot of dairy or like, so I was like, it's ruined now. And then I went with my sister and I was like, I want to have it where in case my stomach is upset, like I don't want to go anywhere. Like, so I was like, I need to be home.
Yes.
And so I got it with almond milk. Yeah. And my sister bought it for me for my birthday. Actually, that she came over and brought it, and she's like, it's almond milk. I'm like, God bless you.
Is it good? Is it just as good?
It was just as good because I was worried it wouldn't be as good because Irish cream is half and half, and but it was good, and my stomach was fine. I was like, thank God. Like needle pains, like someone stabbed me.
So a couple weeks ago, somebody told me, actually, because I'm such a nerd. So I follow Black Rock on Instagram, and like there's the official Black Rock, and then there's Black Rock Arizona. So I follow both of them because that's who I am as a human being. And
coffee's amazing. I would do the same thing. If I was on Instagram, I would follow.
Yeah. So I comment on their posts all the time because I'm a nerd. And they had some drink on there and I was like, oh, do they have this in decaf or something? There was some special drink and I was trying to figure out if I could get it in decaf. And they're like, oh, you have to try what was it? Lavender oat milk latte. That's all it was. Ooh. Lavender. Oh my God. It's so good.
You had me at lavender. That sounds amazing.
It's so good. And the oat milk is really good.
Oh God. I'll have to try. That's at Black Rock?
Yeah.
Is it a seasonal one or is it like kind of?
I don't think it was a seasonal one, but I'm not sure. But because I've only got it the one time, but it was like really clean tasting. And like, you know how sometimes it can be when you get a drink, it's very syrupy sort of.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like kind of sticks to your tongue in a way. I don't know. Kind of
like you can almost taste like chemicals in it, like the syrupy.
Kind of, and it's like very like your tongue feels fuzzy after you're drinking it because it's so sugary. But this was it tasted like smooth and clean, probably because of the oat milk. Yeah. Honestly.
A lavender oat milk
latte. And I got it iced. So iced lavender oat milk latte. So delicious.
I'm going to get that now. That sounds amazing. I like anything. Well, I love lavender. So I'm like, lavender, I love it. Like I make my niece, I need to make it for her. I feel so bad. She keeps asking me. Lavender lemonade. He loves that. It's so good. It has like the little bit of lavender tint to it, and it's like really
Yeah.
calming, like for your digestive. I can't talk today.
Yeah. Oh, that would be
And
good.
it, like,
So do you use it like squeeze your lemons and everything?
yeah, you do the lemons, and then
Oh,
I don't have any lavender like buds. I need to get. I planted some. They're dying, unfortunately.
yeah. It's
Damn heat.
Arizona.
Oh, yeah, and so I thought I wanted to use all my own lavender buds, but now I'm gonna have to order some, and
How
and then you
cool.
kind of it's been so long since I made it. I gotta look at my recipe again, but like you just strain the lavender, you make it on its own, like a lavender water. You just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I can't say that word, detoxin. I don't know. But then you pour that in the lavender or the lemonade, and it's really good.
Okay. Oh, cool.
You have to make some. It's really refreshing.
Yeah, it sounds like it would be good.
Yeah.
Lots of ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool on a nice hot day.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Well, we have a plethora of citrus here. Our neighbor
Okay.
behind us has a lemon tree and it's half in our yard. And
Oh,
we just go out and pick lemons right off the tree. She don't care.
that's awesome.
No one uses them. Like literally they fall off the tree into our yard.
Yeah.
And Michael or Dirk actually will make his own lemonade. He'll just go squeeze some lemonades and
That's so cute.
some
Awesome.
lemonades. Yeah, and it's, I mean, nothing tastes better than the fresh lemonade.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy how Arizona, there's lemonade, citrus everywhere. Like
Yeah.
in all the neighborhoods, that's like their go-to.
Yeah.
And
It used to even be more so when they used to have all the groves and stuff. The groves are mostly all gone, but
yeah,
I was just talking to Mike about that the other day because when I first came out here in the early 90s, we would drive out in Mesa and like there were orange groves everywhere.
yeah.
And there's only like a couple left, but they've been incorporated like neighborhoods, like there's houses in them now.
Yeah.
And I was like, wonder why the farmers here moved away from doing citrus.
I don't know either, but
It's interesting.
because my family, we used to live over in that area by the groves.
Yeah.
Remember we used to go for bike rides.
Oh, it smells so good when the blossoms are blooming.
Yeah.
That's my favorite time of year. When you can, well, no, it's not because it's leading into summer, but
Yeah.
I-
You had cool days a lot.
yeah, you've got a couple cool days in there where you, when you're outside in the morning or at nighttime and you can smell those blossoms, it's so good.
And then the allergies hits us.
Yes, the allergies. I was gonna ask you, have you felt really weird the past 2 days? Like dizzy headed and kind of very off?
You know what? I would say the last few months I've had a lot of days of that where I had a lot of headaches.
Yes, I had one today.
Yeah, I had one last night or yesterday. It especially when I have I'm having an allergic or sensitive reaction to something I ate. It's like a band around my head, and then like ice picks or hot in my eyes, and I'm like, oh, I'm dying. Like, what is this? But yeah, headaches.
Yeah.
Like
the
a little
air quality.
Yeah. Oh, the air quality was really bad. I think it was.
Yes. It's been awful, and like just a sore throat all the time. And my pain is always like right here. Mm-hmm. And then like right in the ball of my eye.
Oh yeah, that hurts.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
No, and I always think, is it because I'm staring at a computer screen all day, and then I'm like doing schoolwork, and then I'll be on my phone, and I'm like, is that all?
It doesn't help. I'm sure.
But I don't know. I'm in the same boat as you. I get it all the time, and
yeah, like right now my nose is running.
You know what? I had the sore throat. It's not a sore throat, but it's like you feel
scratchy.
Yeah, I've had, and it's funny. The last year or so, on and off, I'll kind of get that. I'm like, oh shit, what is this?
I know.
And
I know.
My family and I went to Jerome, last February.
I love Jerome.
And that was the first time I went, and it was raining the entire time. It was really beautiful, but I had my dogs with me, and I thank God I had a backpack, so I just had them in my backpack.
Yeah.
It was just wet. And afterwards, we were all kind of, like when we got home, we were all kind of like, and it was weird because ever since then, we've
had drainage.
Yeah, and I'm like, we would say, we feel Jerome-y right now.
Yeah. So did you spend the night when you were there, or did you do a day trip?
Just did a day trip.
Let me tell you what you need to do. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, we did this. It was so cool. So we went up a couple years ago and we stayed at the Connor Hotel. So it's right there. You know where it is?
Yeah.
It's right by the Spirit Room.
Yeah. Is that the one
right there on the corner? There's that little tavern on the corner and there's a hotel right beside of it. It's like, and a couple down from there is the Pussifer store, the Maynard from Tools store.
Oh yeah, yeah. Does he have one wine?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that little winery's right there too. So the Connor, like, you know, when you come up the hill and there's like, you're on the main street and there's the intersection that goes through, there's a Spirit Room, which is that bar where they have like shows and stuff like that. The Connor Hotel is right above there.
Oh, okay.
And they only have like, I want to say like 8 rooms or something. But we stayed there. And then at night we did the ghost tour.
Yeah.
It was so like, because me being me, because of my past, I was really nervous about the whole, I'm like, I don't know if I want to go hunting for ghosts or whatever. But of course I also want to go hunting for ghosts. So
it's a double-edged sword. Because it
really is.
I'm like, I want to do it,
but I'm also nervous. So me, my mom, Dirk and Mike, we did it. And they give you the little meters and everything. But the cool part about it is you walk through the whole town and they give you a history of the whole town. Then, of course, the whole time they're telling you scary stories like real stories that have happened in the town and the history of the town and everything like that. And you've got your little e-meter, like waiting for it to like start beeping or whatever. And it's really cool because, I mean, it's a little spooky too, because some of the stories are pretty creepy of stuff that has happened there and stuff like that. And then, of course, you know, if you were to get something on your meter, we actually had one because we were in a group and one of the girls' meter went off and like we heard a voice thing come through, but it was so quick and like we couldn't get it to do anything else. So we, you know, whatever it was whatever. But I followed the ghost tours on Instagram and they recently posted one where this girl had a really strong like voice come through or whatever. So do that because I think you would really like that.
Yeah, and we were actually going to do it that day, but it was raining so bad, and we had our dogs, and I was like, we were going to do an outside one, but since it was raining, we had to go to a different spot. And I was like, well, they didn't want us to bring the dogs, and I'm like, well, I guess I'm not going to do it. But I was going to do it. And my nephew, my sister and her kids, they went up and did that. They spent the night. Well, they were going to spend the night, but they had to leave in the middle of the night. My niece had an asthma attack come on because it was windy that day. Okay. We were staying, I don't remember the hotel, but it's the one kind of far up on the hill.
That's the really haunted one, though.
Yeah. Yeah,
the Connor's haunted, but that one's had some scary stuff happen in it.
Yeah, I think that I'm not sure if they were all kind of worried about that too. It kind of freaked them out, and then
like anxiety.
Yeah, and I think they that might have brought up her attack a little bit more. Yeah, and my sister forgot the medicine. She's like, we have to go home. So, but I would love to stay there.
Yeah, for sure, do it for sure. You'd love it. Yeah, I just love that town. Mike and I, every time we go up there, we're like, we could just live up here. Like, this is our speed.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Like, it's nice and cool. I mean, it was raining that whole day, but it was really beautiful. I actually saw a shop that was like for sale, and I was like, that would be the best spot to have like, a store or like a spiritual store.
Yes, I know. Yeah, I've looked into real estate up there, like how much would it cost to buy a place or whatever. Yeah. You know, it's pretty expensive. Just, I mean, obviously, but because there's limited space there, right? You know. But yeah, every time we go up there, I'm like, I wish I could like live up here, like be just an artist or whatever. Like if we could make a living off of our art and music and stuff, if we could just live up here and in this chill vibe up here, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Like it's easygoing, other than like the little bit of tourists come in, like crowds, but it was I love the weather, the atmosphere. It was like really cool, like all the streets, like even some of them are like narrow and like there was like a incline or a drop. Like, oh gosh.
Yeah, well then they tell you the story about how that one building's like halfway down the hill because one day it just took off down the hill.
I didn't get to hear all the stories. I want to hear them now.
Yeah, you have to go because it's like it's really fascinating. And like another thing I learned that I tell everybody because I thought it was cool is so on the main strip was this brothel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so they tell the whole history of the brothel, the woman that ran it and everything like that. And like they were telling us that like the ladies of the night, I don't know a nice way to say it.
Yeah.
Without being vulgar about it. But it always cracks me up because they said the girls that were in the brothel were like the chubby girls.
Mm-hmm.
And so they made more money than the skinny girls that had to be like down on the hill, like in the camp. Because the workers lived in camps down on the hill. So he said skinny whores. That sounds mean, but like the skinny, whatever you want to call them.
Ladies of the night.
Working ladies.
Yeah, the working ladies.
He's like, yeah, so the chubby girls made more money in the skinny. I'm like, finally, the tables are reversed.
I know. Even back in the day.
I would have been a rich hoe back then.
Like, damn it. I know, like, even, I love that. Like, you see, like, all the sculptures now. Like, they had curves to it. And,
I know.
And I'm like, there you go. I need to be living there. And
I know. I was just talking about that with my friend Diana because, like, when did society shift from people with meat on their bones to like thin being like the standard for beauty? Because I mean at one point if you look back through art and sculptures and for thousands of years bigger people were considered beautiful, and then all of a sudden, and it has to have been in like the last few decades.
It has to be. Yeah, I think I watched like a documentary on that or something. I think it was, what era was it? Maybe
like the 60s or something?
I would think the 60s because that was like when I think
Twiggy,
yeah, I was gonna say Twiggy came out. But then I know like in the 20s, like the flappers, they were
little waifs, and it's not, I mean, the point is everyone should be considered attractive regardless of what size clothes they wear.
Absolutely.
But it's just such a strange thing that it's such a dramatic shift.
Yeah.
And widely accepted.
Yeah, because what if it's beautiful, as long as you feel beautiful in your body, I think that's what matters. But it's so hard with society. So,
right.
You have to be this way. This is what's beautiful.
Yeah, and your teeth have to be so white, and your skin has to be perfect, and you can't have any wrinkles, and you
have to part your hair a certain way.
Yeah, you have to have your eyebrows look a certain way, and it's crazy.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's especially now with like being at home all the time, like I don't wear normal clothing, so when I did put my jeans back on I was like, shit.
It's like putting on a straight jacket or something.
I'm like, oh, I need new
what are these restrictive clothes, I'm
like, oh no, I need loose fitting clothing. I wear like my yoga pants or like
leggings,
leggings,
leggings, and for sure
sandals and like a comfy shirt. That's too.
Sometimes well, most days I don't. The only reason I even put a bra on is because I do Tae-Bo, and you can't have these things flopping all over the place.
Give ourselves a black eye. I know.
Yeah,
I'm like, I need a bra on.
You can't jump very easy when those things are flapping on you. But
it's uncomfortable. You're like, ow.
Yeah, that hurts. I know. See, that's another thing dudes have no idea.
No.
We got these things that are just in the way all the time.
Yeah, and then add on the Arizona heat and sweat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just want this bra.
So this is gonna be probably gross, but my friend, I when I lived in Ohio before we moved out here, I worked in a warehouse, and it wasn't air conditioned. So
that's rough.
It gets hot in Ohio in the summer. Obviously, humidity level is high there, and so. Me and my one friend that I used to pull orders with, she was my best friend that worked there. We used to be like, "Oh God, it's sweaty crotch weather," because your crotch is just wet all the time. Not to be, I mean, it's gross, but
I think I joke. I'm like, it's swamp vagina.
Yeah. It's like, how many times a day do you have to change your undergarment? You know what I mean? It's like so disgusting.
You just have to, because it's girls, you have other things you have to deal with, and like you have to change all that.
People don't get it, man. They just don't get it.
Women,
boobs, stuff down there, and then we have to go get them smashed between, smashed once a year and fondled and.
Oh yeah, that makes me hurt every time thinking about it. I have
the car jack that they use on you to check down there.
That's the worst. I hate that. It's just, and you're like, it never gets better. I mean,
no, it's never cool.
You would think it would be like the technology would be.
Yeah, for reals.
Simpler,
for real.
But no.
Like literally, it's like a car jack, like
with a light on it now. Have you seen the one?
I haven't had the lighted one yet.
I think I had the lighted one because it was like plastic and then it lit up and I was like,
oh my god, that's fancy.
I know.
It's like a disco down there.
I'm like, oh no.
It's so weird. And the whole time you're having a casual conversation.
Yeah.
She's like feeling your tits up and sticking things up there and you're just like, yeah, so how's work? What's anything new? It's just so weird.
Because we try to make it so normal. Like this is not happening. So let's have a normal conversation. That's beautiful jewelry you got on. Well,
yeah.
Great day.
Yeah. I will say having a kid has numbed me to a lot of that because you had to go like once a month or whatever. And then when you're in the hospital, everybody and their brother's coming over there, sticking their hands in you. And you, at some point you just almost like divorce yourself from your body and just let whatever happens happen. So I definitely don't get as awkward about that anymore as I used to. I'm just like, I'm here. Let's get this over with.
You have to. You kind of have to have that sense because or that mind frame because you're like, I just want this over with. I have to get it done.
I feel so violated right now.
You know what, dentist in that I'm like I feel like it's a violation of some sort because you're like
in your face and like
not a fan, but ask you for our health.
I know. And then the whole hormone thing, like all the stuff we go through with that from the time it starts until after it ends. And I think most women don't understand it because nobody ever teaches you about it. It's like one of these things that like you just don't learn about. And then a lot of doctors don't even understand it. Yeah. And for instance, like I have all these stomach things. And so my doctor, she's a nurse practitioner who I loved. She gave me a prescription for Zofran. So whenever I get bad nausea, she gave me this prescription. And she's, I don't take them every day. I take them when I need them. Sometimes I need them once a month, not at all. Sometimes I need them 2 or 3 times a month. But it's just like this pill. And so I've been getting this pill for like 5 or 6 years now. Well, that lady quit and moved somewhere else. I don't know where she went. So last time I needed that prescription, they won't refill it over the phone. You have to go in for some bizarre reason. And because I wasn't going to that doctor anymore either, like the new guy's not going to renew a prescription he didn't write. So I went in and the guy was like questioning me about it. He's like, you're not supposed to just be on this prescription forever, right? And I'm like, well, I don't take it every day. I just take it as I need it. And he's like, yeah, but you're not supposed to just be on it indefinitely. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but my other doctor prescribed it for me. And I feel like it was because she was a woman and like she understands like how hormones affect your nausea and, your whole system. And whereas the guy is just kind of like thinking, I don't know what he was thinking. Like, first of all, if you're going to abuse a pill, it's not Zofran. It doesn't do anything to you. Yeah. Like you don't get high off of it. It literally just keeps you from puking. Like
you don't take it every day.
You don't take it every day and you don't feel anything from it. Like it doesn't make you feel mellow. It doesn't do anything to you. So it was just such a weird thing. And he's like, well, I guess he goes, okay, well, I'll renew this, but you really should go see, a gastro, whatever. And I'm like, whatever, dude. It's for hormones. My hormones fuck up my stomach. Like that's, I can tell you, like I track all of this information in an app and I can tell you what days I'm probably going to be sick to my stomach based on this app. You know what I mean?
And that tracks like your hormones?
Yeah, it tracks your symptoms. And so
Okay.
once you've been tracking your symptoms for so long, you can see the patterns of it.
Okay.
So like, not to be too graphic or give people TMI or whatever, but like around ovulation time, I get sick, and around period time, I get sick. So I've got like a 3-day window of awesome in there.
Oh, amazingness right there. Yeah, you know, those 2 windows are painful because like, I know me when that's happening when ovulating. I'm like, oh shit, like
yeah. And the funny thing is when I was younger, I never felt any different around that time. I felt completely normal. Of course, you had a little bit of PMS or whatever, but I never had the ovulation thing. And then the past few years, and they say like once you get closer to menopause, like all of this stuff intensifies.
Really?
It's awesome. It's fantastic. So I'm on this group on Facebook. It's like a hormone group. It's run by this woman who's like a hormone specialist. Like this is what she does. Oh, wow. And it's such a godsend to me. Yeah. Because when I first started getting all these weird symptoms, and it's like stuff that, how do you even explain it to a doctor that your mouth feels funny or that your skin feels weird, you know, to touch and stuff like this. And so I found this group, and I would just say, do any of you guys ever get XYZ, like, you know, random weird stuff? And like, yes, that happens to me too. Oh my God. And then you find out that all these women have the exact same symptoms that you've told your doctor, and your doctor's just like, well, I think it's stress. You need to get more exercise. Like, okay, that's going to fix the weird numb feeling in my mouth.
Yeah, no, thank you. It's nice to know that you have a group of women who are also going to
exactly, because then it's normal. You realize, okay, this is normal. It's weird, but it's normal because I'm not the only person experiencing it, and we're all in sort of the same age range. And then you have this doctor there who's also saying, yes, this is called, you know, it's all, even like your hair texture changing, your skin texture changing, your hair thinning out, like all this weird, crazy stuff that you're like, do I have some strange disease they haven't figured out? Like, you know,
autoimmune disorder or something.
Right. And no, it's all hormones. It's all hormones.
I've been wanting to get my hormones checked. Like, I saw this test kit online. It's like Everlywell. I did the food sensitivity test, and there's a hormone one. Yeah. And I've been thinking about doing it because I feel like that I'm having a hard time losing weight. Like, I try hard, I work out, I eat like as best as I can, especially with my restrictions. Yeah. And I think in the 1 month I lost 4 pounds, but that was half the time I was doing the intermittent fasting. Yeah. And so I was like starving most of the time.
Right, exactly.
I can't starve. I just can't do that. Yeah. And so it's really hard. And I feel like there's a hormonal imbalance.
Like something's blocking it.
Yeah, something's blocking it. The last, I would say like 10, I don't know. My weight goes up and down. So
have you ever been checked for PCOS?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, you might want to bring that up because with polycystic ovarian, it's polycystic ovarian syndrome. So if you have really painful like cramps and stuff like that, or weird stuff like that, and then just bring it up next time you have your exam because you could have that going on, and that'll cause weight fluctuations and like making it really hard to lose weight, and even stomach issues and all that kind of stuff.
Because there's something off. I just can't figure out. I've been to doctors. My stomach's, I have like a B12 deficiency too. So I know that plays a huge part in like my energy and my stomach, like my gut health. But it's just like, I think there's a hormone imbalance as well, but I just can't figure on it yet. Like I went so many different doctors and testings and even the hormonal stuff. Yeah. Like I haven't talked to my gynecologist about that, but
have them check your insulin level too. I mean, it's not going to hurt to check it. You know what I mean? Because you could have an insulin thing going on or anything. Who knows?
Yeah. Because I feel like there's something off. And I think that's with my whole family, like all the women in my family, we all feel the same way where we're like, so it could be something
So let me ask you this question. Do any of your females in your family have the body shape where they've got thin arms and legs and then a round middle?
No, I think we're all kind of like hourglass figure,
Okay.
I think no, I don't think we don't have that.
Okay. Because that's sort of a classic PCOS thing where somebody's like thin in the legs and arms, and then their midsection, they can't lose it
You can't
no
lose
matter
it.
what. So
Okay.
that's a classic, and not to say that you still can't have it and you just don't
Yeah.
have that, but
No,
because
I
I
think
don't have all the signs of PCOS either, but
no.
it's one of those things where there's a whole range of symptoms, and if you have X amount of those, like you're not going to have all of them necessarily, but if you have a certain number of them, then they consider you having PCOS.
Yeah. Because
So
I have to say, like for me, like where I carry it is mostly like my stomach, my hips and thighs.
mm-hmm.
And so it's more that area. I'm trying to think.
Like a pear shape sort of,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's like, yeah, that's where it likes to sit and not
Good times.
go away.
Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? It's fun.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, this conversation's all over the place. I
I
love
know.
it. I love it.
I know. That's the best times when you can just go off and another
So
subject.
back to Scoopy stuff.
Okay.
Spooky stuff for a second. So right before I came to do this with you.
Yeah.
So I love Ghost Adventures, the show Ghost Adventures.
Obsessed. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you watched his new movie Demon House?
No, I don't think I can.
Okay. So this is what happened. Okay. I'm like, oh, I finally found it because again, I follow him on Instagram because I'm a nerd. And they had said like there's a new Ghost Adventure, like, and I read it that it's a Ghost Adventures episode, and I've been looking for it on there and I can't find it. And so finally today I'm like, maybe it's like a standalone show, and sure enough, it is.
Oh,
so
really?
he did a documentary on that demon house, that house that he bought in Indiana.
Yes.
So I'm excited to watch it, and then we're watching the intro of it, and it says like viewer discretion is advised, blah 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 blah, and then it says like some demonologists think that demons can attach to you just through watching shit, and I'm like,
no.
So I said to Mike, I'm like, I want to watch this, but I'm sort of scared to watch it now, just because of my past, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't fuck with that shit.
No, same here.
But we started watching it anyways, and so we started watching it because I didn't get to watch the whole thing because I had to stop to come do this thing.
Yeah.
And but we're watching it. Of course, it's very interesting and stuff, and I don't know what to make of it. You know, I never know. You never know if like half of it's fake or whatever. I don't care. It's still entertaining either way.
I know, I love it.
Yeah. But it's pretty creepy, and like we're watching it, and it was getting to the part where they're talking about the exorcisms and all that stuff, which freaked me. It freaks me out. So I started getting anxious, and I was like, "Oh no, I'm having anxiety." And I'm like, "I know it's triggered by that. Like, certain things I know obviously trigger certain anxiety in me. That's one of them. Like, I can't watch any movies with that kind of stuff in it." And yeah, so I still have to finish that, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to finish it because it's creepy, but I probably will.
I have a funny story about Ghost Adventures. So me and my mom love watching it. Like we love watching that and like other ghost shows, like Dead Files on Travel Channel, that one. So because all the new episodes went on Discovery Plus.
Yes, we bought. I got extra. Yeah, I had to have it.
My sister got it, so we like put it on ours, and we started watching it. And so I'm very I become more sensitive to a lot of energies and things. And like I wasn't before. Sorry, my necklace got all tangled. It's the spirits. I'm just kidding. And we were watching it, and it was about like a demonic presence in this house. And you know, I was like watching. I was like, my throat felt like really tight, and like it just felt really heaviness. And I was telling my mom, I'm like, I don't feel good. I said, I don't think I can watch this. Like I was being affected by it.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm feeling the same way. I'm like, turn this off.
Yeah. Certain ones really get me.
Yeah, I can't. And I know a lot of his stuff's got a lot darker recently. Yeah. You know, the last season.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too. So I'm like, I don't know if I can watch it because
It's hard.
Yeah.
Certain ones really get me.
Yeah, it like affects like us. So yeah, I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know. I haven't watched it since because I kind of got freaked out.
Yeah.
But like I used to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
I love it.
That used to be my thing. Like we would watch it and in bed while we were going to sleep. And I was fine as long as Mike was awake.
Yeah.
As soon as he would fall asleep, I would start getting creeped out. And then it started to where I would be creeped out to get up and go to the bathroom. And then also I started having creepy dreams. And so I'm like, I can't watch this at night anymore, like when I'm going to bed. Because I feel like even if it's just mentally, which probably 99% of it is mental, you know what I mean? Like you psych yourself out and then you get freaked out and whatever. Yeah. But I just feel like you can invite things, because if you're paying attention and something, then stuff's like, well, she's paying attention. So, so I'm always super careful about that stuff. And like a lot of times, like when we watch the show, it'll be like Friday evening, like after work and stuff like that. And so by the time I go to bed, I've like, it's kind of gotten out of my mind or whatever. Yeah. So that I'm not so like focused on it and stuff. But yeah, it's such a conundrum because I'm fascinated by all that stuff. But I also know like you have to be careful with it too, you know?
I agree. I'm the same way. I love learning it, like watching it and watching the stories. It fascinates me. But a lot of the darker stuff, it like ninjas me at night where I'm by myself and I'm like, I hear a noise, son of a bitch. And then like, I feel like our house is very active. So we do have like, on a lot, and my bedroom, like it sounds like you can hear someone walking. Like, it's like the TV, like when you walk, you hear this TV stand shift, like or what's in front of my bed. And like, so when I was watching that, a lot of that stuff, it was a little bit more active. And like, I don't know why, ever since I was a kid, I always like would sleep with like the covers, like literally over my head almost. So when I hear that, I literally go like, and like look for it, like kind of confront the covers in the room.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah.
It's funny because I'm the exact opposite, and I know I'm the oddball there. Like I have to have the blinds up in my room, and I can't have my face high. Like I want to be aware. Everyone, like Mike's always like, why do I like put the shades down? I'm like, no, if something's in the yard, I want to see it. Like I want to know that, and I know that I'm the weirdo.
No, and it makes you feel comfortable. Do it.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, most people are like, no, you don't want to see it. I'm like, yeah, I do. I want to know it's there so I can like get the fuck out of Dodge or whatever.
Right? Whatever. I know, I'm the same way. I have to like cover, but then I'm going to confront it. If I hear something, I'm going to be like, what is this?
Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah. Ugh. I'm glad we don't have anything like that in our house.
Good. I mean, like, I never have bad feelings. But like, I usually feel more peace and comfort. Like maybe I'm like, okay, it's just like my angels or a loved one or yeah. But occasionally I'll get like that heavy feeling,
like a creepy vibe.
I'm like, this isn't normal. I'm like, I need to leave the house.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah,
I've had a couple things. Like I get those things where I don't know if you've ever had these where, and I don't know, I can't think of if they even have a name, if I figured that out yet or not, but. Where you're sound asleep and your eyes just pop open and you can see stuff in the room.
Is it like, are you like, you feel like you can't move?
I can move during it, but like I don't feel like I'm being held down. But like my eyes will pop open and I'll see things in the room, and it happens. It's not super occasionally or anything like that, but enough to where it happens. You know, it's happened more than a couple times. And so like now I know that more than likely is just some sort of weird dream thing. Although it's always random stuff that I'm not dreaming about. So I don't know where that ties into it, but, that's creepy.
Yeah. Is it like a vivid dream too? Or like, do you see things more vividly when you?
Your eyes are open and you're looking at the thing. So the one, I'll just tell you, this is all the ones that have happened to me. The very first one, my eyes popped open. There was a woman with blonde flowing hair and a white gown hovering above the bed, and it looked like the classic ghost.
Yeah.
Like wind was blowing through her hair and her gown and everything like that. And then I'm looking at it, and then your brain goes, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And you freak out, and then it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
The second one happened. This one was terrifying. So I woke up, my eyes popped open. At the foot of the bed, there was this thing standing there that looked like Predator, Predator from the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at it, and it's standing at the foot of the bed. And then my brain goes, that's really not supposed to be there. And I started kicking and screaming, and Mike's like, what the hell is going on,
Yeah.
And then, of course, it disappeared. Like, as soon as you acknowledge that it's not supposed to be there, it kind of goes away.
Yeah.
I've seen a spider that was about this big. I've seen spiders a couple times.
Okay.
And I've seen these other things that were like morphing sort of balls of light.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the times that's happened. Most of the time it's either the ball of light, and then I've seen the spider too. Not too long ago, as a matter of fact, a couple months ago, I was laying in bed, my eyes popped open. I watched a spider about this big crawl from one side of the room all the way across the ceiling to right above my head, and then it disappeared. But this time, while it was going on, my brain goes, okay, this is one of those things that happens. And I didn't get scared that time because my brain recognized that it was one of those things. And so I literally just watched the spider crawl across and it was this big. It wasn't like a real spider.
Yeah. But like still like freaky, just like Well, were you you weren't scared at all? Like did you
this time I wasn't. I mean, it's mildly disconcerting, but my brain goes, okay, this is one of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it so every time that's happened, like before you kind of like your brain registers, oh, this isn't supposed to be here. What was like your initial like emotion or like?
It's just kind of like, okay, my eyes pop open and you're just like looking at it, not really making sense of what you're looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just kind of viewing it. And then it's like your brain kicks in and goes, that's not supposed to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
Yeah. That would freak me out. I've thankfully never had that. Knock on wood. Hopefully it doesn't. I've had like weird noises, or I've had like loved ones. Like I feel like I've had like during meditation, like I've seen them.
I've had that too, for sure.
I love that one, but I haven't seen anything. I heard one time. It's mostly noises. I hear it and I feel it. One time I was laying in bed and I could just sense something like walking around, because like
I don't like that.
And I was just like, okay, I'm like, don't freak out. Maybe it's just a nice, like I think my initial thought is like, oh, this isn't good, but it could be because I'm more scared,
right?
Just whatever, I hear something, but then I started hearing something, and it sounded like someone clearing their throat, going like about they're gonna say something, and I was like, no. I like shouted, I'm like, no.
Yeah, like, nope, we're not doing that here.
Oh yeah. I'm like, no, I'm sleeping, you cannot do this. And like I like yelled at whatever that was.
Yeah, that's
if you're nice, I'm sorry, but no, not now.
Yeah, not in this house. We don't do that in this house.
Yeah, no, I'm like, no, if you want to visit me during the day, you want to talk to me.
Even then though, ooh.
See, I think I would feel more at ease during the day, like in sunlight, like more comfortable. Yeah. Like if it was, I'm thinking like good stuff, not bad stuff. Yeah. But I see like a lot of things out of the corner of my eye, like during the day. Like when I'm working the door, I feel like a shadow.
Oh.
That just me? Am I crazy?
Yeah. Yeah. So the only other thing that really weird happened in this house was one time I was sound asleep, and I felt it was like somebody had a fingertip, like their fingertip was cool, and they went like this right here on my forehead, and my eyes popped open because I felt it, like somebody took their finger and went like that right on my forehead. and my eyes popped open and I saw this tall man with long black hair kind of whoosh out the door.
Wow.
And okay, I happen to have a friend who's tall with long black hair who passed away. And so that was my vibe.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, that's just your brain making connections too.
It could
But I definitely felt this fingertip, and it was like nice and cool, right in the middle of my forehead like that. And then my eyes popped open, and it was like this, and it was almost like a mental image than an actual physical image. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was weird.
Well, maybe it was. Maybe it was coming to say hi. That one. Really,
yeah, that one didn't. It was weird, but it didn't like scare me. It was kind of like, okay, what was that? But it wasn't like panicky feeling.
Yeah, that I'd rather have that where you feel calm in a sense, where you're like, okay, I'm not fearful right now.
Yeah.
But I wonder why, if he was there, why did he wake you up in the middle of the night? Like, it's like, when do you come then?
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. You know? Yeah. I have dreams a lot of times with him in them too, where he'll just be there.
That's nice.
Like I had one a couple of days ago actually, where I was actually on tour and the whole entourage was there. And I kept catching glimpses of him in the background. And he had a plate of food. And I kept going like, hey, like I was going to go talk to him, and then something would either take him away or I would get distracted to someplace else. So I never got to talk to him, but I kept seeing him like off in the distance and like being like, hey, yeah. Like I was going to go talk to him, and it, like there was something always keeping us from talking to each other. Yeah. I thought that was kind of weird.
Yeah, but at the same sense, you're like, that's awesome. I get to see him. And
yeah, it was like a peek over the hedge a little bit. It's weird.
Yeah. That's crazy. I hear sometimes, like, when you're in that dream state and people have visitations from loved ones and they can't remember that conversation. I
never can remember. Yeah.
It's like they're not supposed to or something. Like,
yeah, I feel like that's true. Yeah.
Because
go ahead.
Oh, no, you go ahead.
I've had several dreams about after my father died, after my grandma and grandpa died. After this goes clear back to when I was still in school, high school, one of my classmates died that I just loved. And after he died, I had, and it's all the same sort of formula where I'm in a room, a nondescript room, talking to them. And then I don't remember anything that was said after the fact, but it's the same formula each time.
Absolutely. It's frustrating because you're like, I want to remember that. Like, I want to remember what we talked about, or like, I have dreams of loved ones who's passed, but then I can't remember half of it, or we don't get to hug or interact. And I'm like, I want to hug you.
Yeah. And I remember the one dream I had after my dad, and sometimes they do show up again. I haven't had any of my grandparents, but my dad's made return appearances. Yeah. And like my other friend has made return appearances. And sometimes they're just dreams. Yeah. But sometimes they feel like there's extra something.
Yeah.
And my dad, when he was alive, was sort of like a depressed, kind of sort of grouchy person. And but he also had this other side that was really goofy and playful, and that's usually how he was with me. Like he was silly until I got older, and then I was an asshole and he was a dick to me, but whatever. But when I was young, like he was really goofy. Like he would make up stupid songs and just like stupid, silly, goofy stuff, make noises and weird stuff. And so after he died, I had this dream where he looked young, like he did when I was a kid. And it was like all the negative parts of his personality were gone. And it was just that goofy, happy version of him. Yeah. Like what he should have been like, minus all of the like negative stuff that he had for whatever reason that I don't know why. And so it was like really nice to see him like happy and like how he should have been in life, you know?
Oh, that's wonderful. Those are the kind of dreams that you
Yeah.
love. Like you're like, I want to remember them and like keep dreaming them. Like
Yeah.
visit me every
Yeah.
night.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like I want to keep having, like I want to see you happy like that, you
Yeah.
know?
That's the best. I can't see the dreams I have of loved ones. It's like just a dream. I feel like I'm not getting a message per se, or having that kind of interaction, or it's like a weird scenario. And I'm like,
Yeah.
what's happening? But I remember one dream with my grandma, my dad's mom. She came in, and I wasn't able to talk to her, but she went directly to my dad, and they were just hugging and holding hands. And I was like, oh, this is the best just to see that.
Yeah.
That was a really good dream.
Don't you kind of feel like, and maybe there's a veil there that we're not allowed to pierce? Like we can
Mhm.
see you, but we
Mhm.
can't get that close because there is that separation because they're over there and we're over here. So we can only get so close to them,
Oh
you
yeah, I
know?
agree. I completely think there, like you said, there's that veil where occasionally we can interact or
Yeah.
through.
Pierce through it. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I think through our dreams and even meditation, we can kind of either either raise our vibration or like get ourselves through that veil.
Yeah.
And
That's where I start worrying about messing with stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm the same way because like anytime I do like tarot card readings or pendulum or even like
Mm-hmm.
the hypnosis or meditation, I always what I've been taught and learned like is just to open up like your circle or whatever or
Mm-hmm.
prayer and
Mm-hmm.
like the universal white light and like you state like only God's unconditional love and universal love can be allowed in this space
Mm-hmm.
in the messages. And so that's like what I've been taught. That's what I always do. I open and close with that.
Mm-hmm.
And that I'm like, okay, only, and I kind of envision like white light around me
Yeah.
that helps me feel safe and protected,
Yeah.
that nothing can pierce that, darkness.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe you know about this. So I used to go to this one therapist, and towards the end of me seeing her, we started doing this thing where she would tap me.
Yeah.
You know what that is? What
Yeah.
is that?
It,
It was
it's,
so long ago.
I actually want to learn how to do that. I've been told I need to do that for me. It's called EFT tapping. It's oh shoot, what is it called? Like I forget what it means. Like emotional, is it emotional? I don't know, but it's like you're tapping energetic points in your body that can connect to like triggers or stress or
Mm,
emotions. So you can do like tap here, I think like here, your mouth, your throat, your heart, other places.
yeah.
It's like I don't know all of it's about, but I know the gist of that, I think. But that's
It
supposed
was really interesting.
to. Mm-hmm.
I feel like she held my hands. I want to say she held my hands or tapped me on the wrist or something. I
Mm-hmm.
can't remember now because this was a very long time ago. But
Yeah.
it was really interesting because, and I remember being really emotionally like, it was very emotional and like I remember at the time thinking that was more emotional than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It
That's
was really interesting.
You should try it again if that feels like comfortable, to release some stuff. Like
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
that's one of the classes that wasn't in my program, and I'm like, I really want to learn that. I think that's really a cool technique,
Yeah,
a way to release some emotions or maybe not like demons or spirit tapping,
sure,
but like
sure.
attachments that we're holding on to from like
Yeah,
past relations.
I think she explained it where you're associating an emotion with a feeling. That's why
Mhm.
I think that's why they did the tapping so that you were feeling something physical at the same time you were feeling something emotional or something like that.
Yeah, that
And
sounds.
so it had a sort of keeping you the feel of it attached to the emotion or something like that.
Mhm.
I can't remember though, but I remember I enjoy. We only did it the one time, and then I quit. I can't remember why I quit going. I quit going for
Yeah,
some maybe my insurance ran out or
yeah.
like something like that. But I remember I enjoyed that.
Hmm.
Um, and then another thing, we were talking about self esteem and all that kind of stuff. The last therapist that I saw, and she's moved out of state now, she one time was, because we always talked about this whole body image thing and self-worth and where it all like where does this all stem from in me and all this kind of stuff. And so she would ask me to like think back to yourself as a child,
Hmm.
and like really picture this in your head. Picture how you felt, what you looked like, all that kind of stuff. Really picture it. And so she had me focus on that for a while. And then she said, now picture telling that person all of the negative stuff that you tell yourself. And
Hmm.
that really freaked me out
Yeah.
because I could picture, like, I could just picture this poor little kid. And, and like also because I'm a mom, like I picture my son, and if somebody was saying these awful things to him,
Hmm.
and that you do that to yourself, like we're still that little person.
Yeah.
And to think of abusing that little, like I'm getting choked up thinking about that,
Let it
like
let it out.
picturing like abusing that little kid,
Mhm.
and I try to hold on to that feeling, but it's so hard when you are in the middle of being stressed out and
Absolutely.
whatever. But that
It
was a valuable tool.
it is. I love, because that's some of the stuff that I've been working on too. Is it's like your inner child.
Yeah,
You're talking to that, because we will always still have that little inner child with us,
yeah,
and so it's wonderful to do some meditations where you can connect and love that child,
yeah,
and appreciate that, and kind of like play with your inner child a bit, like you imagine
yeah,
push them on the swing, or making them happy, and
yeah, yeah.
having fun with them, and that in turn is you're nourishing yourself.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, you look at children and they're born perfect.
Yes.
They're born perfect. They don't have any negativity. They're just these perfect little beings. They have no negative thoughts, then nothing but, pure.
Yeah.
And then you think about, like, we all are that. We were that at one point. And then to think of that, all this negative stuff in the world around you, maybe from your family, maybe from people that you went to school with, society, whatever, takes that perfect little pure thing and like destroys it
Yeah.
essentially. And
Yeah.
like it's really sad. Like I think about that. Like one of the reasons why I'm sad, like I'm pretty much sad all the time. Well, like because I think about my son and like how perfect he. I mean, he's this
Mhm.
perfect little thing.
Yeah.
And then I make mistakes as a parent. His dad makes mistakes. He makes mistakes. We all make
Yeah.
mistakes. And then you think about how, but you started out this perfect little pure thing, and now you have all these experiences that are negative,
Yeah.
sometimes by your own actions and whatever. But it's such a sad thing that we can't stay in that like perfect, happy, pure
Yes. I
state.
It's just so
It's so depressing.
you want to protect those, all the children. You're like,
Yes. Yeah.
stay that way. Don't let the world
Yeah.
get to you. Like that's why we want to protect our babies so much. Like just
Yes.
love them, be happy, enjoy your childhood, be a child,
Yes.
enjoy
Well, and
everything.
then including your own self, because
Mhm.
I'm sure you can picture a time before, like I picture the moment when I was very a happy, innocent, like wasn't insecure, nothing like that, no negative thoughts. I can picture that age. And then to think that that poor little thing had to go through all this garbage and like get all of that self-esteem wrecked, and it's really sad to
It
think
is, and it
that
like
we
you're
all
like,
go through that.
why? Like, why did that have to
I
happen?
know. And then when I think, like, I have some friends that were horribly abused, and I think of how just it makes me so sick for them. Like, to
Yes.
think of, because I love them so much, and to think of that perfect little person that they were being abused, I'm just like, it, it, it it makes me physically sick
Mm-hmm.
thinking about any little person being put through anything like that. It like literally breaks my heart. Like it makes me sick.
Yeah,
Just makes me so sad.
yeah, it makes me sick and angry where you're like, you
Yes.
want to beat the living fucking hell out
Yes.
of them and be like, how could you ever touch an
Yeah.
innocent child? Like,
Yeah. It
yeah,
makes me so sick.
it breaks your heart because they went through that, they experienced, and you're
Yeah,
like,
it wasn't fair. They did nothing to deserve that. And it
no,
makes me so angry and sad that like certain people just are suffering, you
yeah,
know, of no consequence of their own action. They didn't do anything to deserve that suffering at all. It's not like when you're a grown adult and you make a stupid choice and you
yeah,
suffer the consequences of your action. You're a child. You have no choice in the matter. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
You
It
don't
just makes
know.
me so sad. Right. You don't know. And yeah, you don't know. It's just so
Yeah.
sad to me to think about how many people have like just and are going through it right now.
Yes, it breaks your heart thinking that like any innocent child, or
Yeah.
experience any kind of pain in the world, and they should just be enjoying happiness,
Yeah.
joy, love, and
Yeah. And
just
that we can't carry that through our whole life, like because of all the experiences that we have, negative experiences that we have,
it cheats
wreck
you.
it wrecks that. Yeah, it does. It cheats us all. We all get
Yeah,
cheated.
yeah. And then you can carry that into
Yeah,
the world. That's the
we
thing
do.
you deal with, and
That's
and
why we're needing therapy.
hypnotherapy.
Yes, that's why I need you to fix me. I told Mike, I said I was going to tell you to fix me.
Yeah. Well, we'll work together. I think I actually, one of my teachers just gave me a inner child meditation. I can
Oh,
record it
cool.
and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's super helpful. I really do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
really do.
Yeah, I've done a couple like I found on YouTube, and I was like crying through like all of them. I was
Yes.
like, oh my God, like it was, and
It is. It's weird.
yeah, and you just feel so much, healthier and happier afterwards.
It
Ultimately.
makes me so sad though. Like it makes me sad. I don't know. Ever since I was a kid, time has bothered me, like the passing of time. Like and so I'm just always in this constant state of sadness because time is just never stops. It just keeps going and going and going and going. And it gets exponentially faster
Oh
the
yeah.
older that you get.
As we get older, it's like a blink of an eye. Like this year,
Yeah.
I can't believe it's June already. And I'm like, I don't remember that as a kid. Like it just going.
No, summer felt like it was 6 months long as a kid.
You enjoyed every minute and you're like, oh, yeah,
Yes.
it's school time. But like it was weeks.
Yeah. But even then you got the most out of school even when you're little.
Yeah.
Got kind of crappy later, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's such I don't know. I think I think too hard about stuff and then I start getting depressed about it. And then like again with my son and stuff, I'm like, he's so perfect and I'm so afraid of screwing him up all the time.
Oh.
And like how is my behavior affecting him that later in life he's gonna be like, my mom used to do XYZ and it made me feel XYZ. And I'm just like, I
mean, that stresses you up. But you know what? I think every parent feels that exact way.
I hope so. I mean, we should, I think.
Yeah. And yeah, you're a mama bear. You love your baby. Just talking.
I do, but I feel like I just feel like I fail all the time.
No.
At everything.
Yes, we're all imperfect. That's the perfect thing about us.
I hate that though. Like I hate that.
I know.
See, that's the thing about being a perfectionist. Like in my mind, if you're a perfectionist, that means you do everything perfect. And so I never thought that I was a perfectionist, but that's the whole point of being a perfectionist is that you think you fuck everything up.
Oh yeah. I'm the same way. Like with work or anything, I'm like, it has to be, I want it to be the best work I can give it and be perfect.
Yeah.
And when it isn't, you're like, you judge yourself completely.
Yeah. Well, and then do you do this sort of thing where, well, I can't be perfect anyways, so I'm just going to say fuck it.
And moments of that, yeah. I'm like,
well, but then you like torture yourself over that. So it's like you just can't win. Because if you try your best, it's not going to be good enough. And then if you just say, well, fuck it, I don't care, it's not going to be good enough. So either way, you don't win.
It's one of those moments where it's like an impasse where like, well, what the hell? I don't know what to do here.
Exactly. And that's what always ends up happening with like the whole diet thing. Cause it's like, okay, well, I've been starving myself for a month now and I've lost 0 pounds.
Yeah,
And then you just go, fuck it, I'm going to eat then.
I'm going to go out and eat some food and then I'm going to have a stomach ache.
And then I gained 15 pounds in 2 weeks. And then I'm like, awesome. But I couldn't lose any weight when I was starving myself for a month. Cool.
Exactly. I know. I'm the same way. Oh, sorry. Shut the door real quick. And accidentally stepped on my dog's tail. She's growling at me now. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I'm the same way where like, you know, you diet and you can't get anywhere and you're like, I lost like an ounce. Woo.
Yeah. Yeah. After all that hard work and torture.
Yeah. And it's like mostly starving.
Yeah.
You're like, I want to eat.
I know. Because it makes you happy.
It does.
I know. And everything's centered around it. Everybody, like you said, everybody wants to meet for lunch or like holidays. It's like, ooh, what are we going to cook for Christmas dinner?
Right.
And like all the, you know,
the
shenanigans leading up to it, like all the cookies every single day and fudge and like candy and oh Lord. Halloween. You're still eating Halloween stuff by the time you get to Thanksgiving, and then Thanksgiving you leading into Christmas, and then Christmas to New Year's, and then New Year's to Valentine's Day, and then Valentine's to Easter. And so this massive chunk of the year is like food fest to candy, you know, all this.
Absolutely. I think I still have candy from Easter. Like I'll sneak in.
We do.
Like, it's still good. I think it is.
My mom sent Dirk a bunch of candy. I think it was Easter. And I just found we had his Easter basket on top of the refrigerator because he was going hog wild on it every day and then being a complete spaz. So we put it on the top of the refrigerator. We're like, if you want candy, ask and we'll bring it down. So anyway, I pulled out this Easter basket yesterday, or a couple days ago. And I'm like, ooh, there's peanut M&Ms in here. So I open them up and I'm like, they've got that gray chalk on them. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to eat a couple anyways, because why would I not?
And like,
it tasted like garbage.
Oh, I hate that. You're like, I'm going to eat some of it. And you're like, this doesn't taste good whatsoever.
But I'll still eat a couple more.
Yeah. Like, I'm gonna taste some more in case it's just those.
Yeah, maybe I better try this again just in case. Good Lord.
Maybe it's just a fluke, and those ones were the bad ones. You were the one.
Yeah. Even though they're all dusty with like this weird gray stuff, I don't know what it is. Or like, have you ever bought a candy bar or something? You open it up and it's got that like
a slime.
It's like a weird chalky thing. I don't know what. It's probably mold or something. I don't know. Eat it anyways. Whatever.
Oh yeah, it's I'm the same way when I open it, I'm like, well shit, do I eat it? It looks pretty like just gross. The edges, like because it's like stuck to the wrapper, and I'm like, I'll just try it. What the hell?
I'm just gonna eat it. I'll power through.
Exactly.
Gee, I wonder why I'm the overweight and sick to my stomach all the time. Stupid.
It's probably all the crazy process that made that slime that's coating my intestines.
Yes. Or you get some like ice cream out of the fridge, it's got freezer burn on it. I'll eat around that part.
That's the worst. You're like, I'm just gonna scrape it off and get rid of it.
Gross. It's not even good. That's the thing.
No, it has like a weird taste, and you're like, this is gross now.
It's just this weird comfort thing or something. I don't know. It's the same reason why I'm telling you. It's the same reason why people take drugs and stuff. Like they know they're making themselves sick, but
it makes them happy in a weird way.
Yeah.
I feel like that. I think food like I was telling my sister this was a while ago, and I'm like, I was on Pinterest. You're just looking at like random stuff on there, and it was like about addictions, or it was, I don't know how I got on it, but it was like food, any kind of like food is just like an addiction because you still have that want and crave for it. But then I can't even remember what it was, but we had like, me and her were like, oh my God, that's so right. Like,
yeah. Well, and then if you think about a baby, every time they cry, you feed them.
Yeah.
And so we're literally trained from birth when we're unhappy, we get food.
And it is, we give presents, or like Valentine's Day, we give gifts for like, here's chocolate, here's a,
everything.
Or as a like a reward. Oh, here, let's go get this food for good.
Yeah, because I can distinctly remember, like having a bad day, and my mom would be like, "Well, let's go get ice cream."
Yeah.
That's not abnormal. That's like common behavior people do,
Exactly. And then it's a fun, like you remember that, oh, that was great, and you associate all those good memories.
Because it lifted your mood.
Yeah. And it tasted delicious in the meanwhile.
It sure damn did. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Yeah. So it makes sense that people go to like food for comfort because you associate it with family holidays and again, you're a baby crying, your mom gives you milk.
Yeah.
Trained pretty early at that reward system there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I'm sad. Feed me.
Feed me. I'm crying. Help me.
I still do. I cry. I'm crying. Go give me a chocolate bar.
I know, right? Let me have that cookie. That'll make me feel better. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the whole time I'm eating it, I'm going, I hate myself for eating this cookie.
Yeah. You're like, I'm not gonna regret it. And then you're like 3 cookies in.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
Yes. One more. I'm already in it. Might as well get 2 more.
I'm already in this deep. What's the whole thing gonna hurt me?
Exactly. Yeah. And then you're like, so horrible.
I hate it.
Yeah.
It's awful. It's a vicious cycle.
It really is. Yeah. And it's so funny because like the books I'm reading right now is all about that. Like how eating and we associate it with all that. So it's crazy to read about it. You're like, well, shit, yeah, it's so right. And then we're talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and then you get mad. Like, I don't know. I assume everybody does this, but like you get mad. So like when you go on the strict diet and you're doing really well, you're sticking to it, you're seeing some progress, and then like holidays come around, or you go to work and someone brings in donuts or whatever, and then like you get this angry chip on your shoulder because you're like, well, I can't have any of that. And then people are trying to get you to eat it, and then you got to justify why you can't eat it. It's like this whole, like my husband, he's a type 1 diabetic, right? So when he was first diagnosed, because he was older, they assumed he had type 2, which is ridiculous because he had, besides the high blood sugar, he's tall, skinny, like he had none of the mannerisms of like a type 2 diabetic. But so they misdiagnosed him type 2, he's a type 1. So anyway, when he was diagnosed, like we would go to family gatherings and people would be like, oh, can have some pie. He's like, I can't eat pie, I have diabetes. So like, well, Aunt Joe eats it and he's fine. He's like, yeah, Aunt Joe got his toe cut off last week because of it. But so he would constantly have to justify why he couldn't eat stuff because people, I don't think, could rectify the fact that he was skinny and like not allowed to eat pie and whatever. And he still goes through this to this day. Like at work, they'll have like, oh, we're going to cater in food. What do you want? And he's like, well, I can't eat anything. And they're like, well, why not? And it's like, as a 50-some-year-old person, you shouldn't have to justify your diet choices to your coworkers or whoever, you know what I mean?
Exactly. You're like, I hate when they question it or like, oh no, just have some.
Like vegans, I'm sure go through this all the time, or gluten-free people. And like, well, why can't you eat it? It's like, it's none of your business, first of all.
I choose not to.
Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
I don't want to, leave me alone. But like, you get this like diet anger because everybody else is like stuffing their face full of all this stuff and you're just like, I can't have any. And then you're just like grumpy all the time. And then you're just like, finally, sometimes you're like, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to eat it.
Just going to have it. And then it's a down road,
Yes. Once you like, that's how I am. I'm like all in or all out. I can't do this middle ground thing. And so if I'm strict, I'm strict.
Yes.
And then as soon as I get to track, it's like I always say it's like a shark with 1 drop of blood in the water. Throw a chocolate bar at me and it's all hell breaks loose. I'm on a frenzy that's going to take me months to get back on track. Crazy.
You're like, you lose your mindset. You're like, you kind of feel defeated and you're like, well, I'm just gonna take a real quick break.
Once I get out of that mode, It's really hard to get back into it.
Yeah, it's hard because you have to have that motivation.
You
to be like,
do.
oh, let's do this. I want to feel good. I want to like
Yeah.
feel healthy. Just that's, feel good health and wellness. But sometimes it's hard to get into that mindset.
It is. It's very hard. And that's kind of what happened. So last winter, not this current winter, the winter before, whenever that was, I don't even know anymore.
It all blurs into one.
I was walking like a lot. So I was walking like multiple times a day, and I was usually walking like close to 5 miles every day. And then it got hot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to do Tai Bo instead. So I was doing Tai Bo every day. And then I have this thing on my spine. I'm not going to get into it because it's who cares, but I have a problem with my spine. It's got this thing on it, and it'll cause sometimes parts of my legs to go numb.
Oh, no.
And so it was getting really numb. And so I called the neurologist, and she's like, please quit doing Tai Bo. And so I had, because she didn't know if that was aggravating it or whatever. And so then I quit doing Tai Bo. So I couldn't walk, and I couldn't do Tai Bo. And so that really screwed me up. And so then, again, you get out of the habit, and one thing leads to another, and you're back in your, shitty routine.
Yeah.
And then getting back into it is so freaking hard.
Oh, it is. Like anything like that, like if you have like a little or something to stop you, you're like, well, I can't do it. And what am I going to do? Well,
yeah,
you just go back to the old basic.
And then if you have that sort of addictive personality or whatever, then it's like your excuse not to do it anymore, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's hard. It sucks. It really sucks. Like I'm so amazed by people who can, like people like The Rock, Henry Cavill, like any of those kind of people who can like change their bodies so insanely.
Yes.
And like the amount of dedication and sacrifice that takes to get into that kind of shape is insane to me. And so I'm always just like blown away by any kind of athletes that are like athletes or actors that do those things for film roles or whatever. I'm just like, I worship these people, because not in the gross way, but just like to be able to have that kind of fortitude to do that transformation is just, and also they have chefs, they have trainers, they have the money that they're not going to the office 10 hours a day,
right?
Driving on the freeway, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be real, not easy, but it would be a lot easier to be able to do that in that situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm always like super amazed by those people.
Yeah, I agree. I'm like, I wish I had that motivation and drive.
Yeah.
Some days you're just tired. You work all day.
Right.
You have to take care of your family. You got to make dinner. You got to do stuff.
Yep.
You have responsibilities, and then you're trying to fit in that. I got to work out. I got to exercise. Or
right. And then some days you just don't want to do anything.
Yeah, and some you're just so tired. Like I just want to lay on the couch and just kind of take a nap.
There he is, sneaking in. Now he's shy.
Oh, hello. You misses his mama?
He's used to this on Friday nights. I'm usually MIA.
Yeah. Doing it for a while too.
Yeah, I think I started this before Christmas. So yeah, because the first one I had the Christmas tree up, so it was before Christmas. I think you're the 26th one.
Oh, number 26.
But some of those weeks I had some of them there was 2. I think I've only skipped 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because I had to cancel. Last week I didn't feel good, and then the other time I didn't feel good. So
yeah.
Anyways.
Take care of you first.
Well, I hate rescheduling them because I feel bad, but I mean, what can you do? Sometimes you don't feel good.
Yeah, you don't mean to. It just happens.
Yeah.
Especially if you're not feeling good. You can't, that just sucks all your energy, and you're like, I just need to heal.
Yeah. Especially when you're just like having those anxiety days or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, they hear my neighbor across the way.
Yeah.
At home, their car is blaring.
Yeah.
And, it just triggers them.
Yeah. My dog barks at everything.
everything. It must be a little dog thing because
She is, yeah.
noise.
Drives me insane.
Gives me a headache because I have like, I don't know if you see it, but these like 2 body pillows on the couch.
Yeah.
I have it up there for them so they can look
Yeah.
up the window.
Yeah.
And so
Be nosy.
yeah, I have the window pulled up during the day while I'm working.
Yeah.
And just anybody walking by.
Yeah. That's how mine is. Mine's half pug and half poodle.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're semi-cousins. They're
yeah.
Maltese and poodle.
Yeah. Cuties.
Oh, yeah.
But big mouth. And the older she gets, the louder she gets. And I actually read this is very common, that with older dogs, they'll start barking more and louder because they're losing their hearing a bit.
Oh, no.
And it's true. She barks like Mike can't even move. She'll start barking at him. It's crazy.
Oh, God.
Like he'll just look at her. Like not, you don't even have to look at her. Like if he's in his chair and he just will go like that, she'll start barking at him. And like she just keeps going and going. And we have cement floors.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
It's
like so loud in here when she starts going.
Does she go for any sudden movements? Just like,
yeah.
They're like that too. Like, you think
calm down.
Yeah, like they would know your scent. Like I'm coming down the stairs, and it's just me.
Yeah, yeah. When my mom comes and stays with us, every time she comes out of the room, she'll start barking at her. And I'm like, she lives here, dumbass. She's been here for like 3 months. Why are you still barking at her like she's a stranger?
I know. I'm like,
she did it to Dirk when Dirk first moved in.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he was an infant, she didn't do it. But as soon as he was old enough to toddle around by himself, he'd walk in the room, she'd start barking. I'm like, dude, he lives here.
It makes me feel better. At least it's not like, I feel like I'm like, what is this or something? Like, why are they doing that? But it has to be a small dog thing.
Yeah, I think it is.
I think they're, because they're so small, any like movement, they're like gonna freak out and start barking.
Yeah, it's embarrassing when someone comes to drop something off or like.
Are you like any family or anybody over?
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It's definitely embarrassing. I think they know that I'm talking about them. They looked at me like, how dare you?
They're like, yeah, we're embarrassing. We know.
But you love me.
Yeah.
I think they had family over. My dad's cousin came over, and I've never met them before, and they did not like them whatsoever. Like they just were barking constantly. And I had to keep them up in their crate, and I felt horrible. I had to shut the door, but even then they just kept barking and barking, and I kept bringing them out to like try and then take them out to the bathroom, and it was not. I had a huge headache by the end of the day. That's
so awkward too.
I know, and I was like, I'm so sorry. This is
embarrassing. No, it isn't embarrassing.
Even
like I always feel bad when our bug guy comes because she goes crazy, and like I can tell he can't stand her. He's probably so used to getting barked at like all day, every day, and I'm just always like, oh, please stop. Yeah. So anyway, the moral of the story is, on that sad day when Lily moves on to the next realm, we will not be getting another little dog. No, but I think I've wanted a rescued greyhound since the 90s, and I just have never gotten one. Yeah. So I think once, we are pet free for a while, and we decide to move on to another animal, I think we're going to do a rescued greyhound. And I think they're pretty well known for being pretty quiet.
Yeah.
And mellow, like super chill and not hyperspastics.
Oh yeah, I've only been around one greyhound before. My sister got a rescue, and his name was Roy. He was so sweet, but I don't know what it was. He started growling at my sister. Yeah,
really?
I know, she went through a whole process with the rescue place, and because she's like, they're known to be like, docile, quiet.
Yeah, very chill.
And so she didn't know what happened. So she, unfortunately, because she has kids. This was like 2-3 years ago. So my niece is 15 now, but that was, I forget how old. She was the oldest, but they didn't feel comfortable. They didn't feel safe because he was still new.
So I wonder if maybe she looked like somebody that had abused him.
It could have been. That's why she's like, for his safety and ours, I want him to.
Yeah, it's not a good match.
Yeah. And then she got another dog now who's like the perfect match. She got a
Oh,
golden
good.
doodle.
Oh, yeah, they look sweet. Oh man, they're so cute, like big teddy bears.
Oh, they are. She's adorable. She's a doll.
Yeah. Oh,
very
that's
energetic.
Cool. Yeah. See, I'm going the opposite way.
Quiet, calm, and at ease.
Yeah, I want like I think for our lifestyle, and you do have to think about that because you don't want to be aggravated and you don't want the dog not to get what it needs either. So for our lifestyle, I think a just chill, mellow, retired greyhound would be good. I mean, assuming it doesn't growl at us.
Hopefully it won't. Maybe that was just her.
Yeah, I think that's definite, I think, a unique situation because they're usually known to be super just chill.
He was so sweet.
That's
he was very chill, but because she was trying to get him upstairs and he just was like backing her in the corner. She's like, oh no, this is not going to work.
Yeah.
You don't want him to be like feel fearful like
sure.
That.
Yeah.
And them too. So yeah.
Well, and I know with greyhounds, you do have to teach them stuff like that because they've been in crates their whole lives. Yeah, so they like I've heard that they don't know how to walk stairs. They don't know how to most of them they don't know how to just be a dog because they've been kept in crates. Like they go from the track to the crate. And so they need their crate even still because it's like their safety thing or whatever. Yeah. I mean, they get out of it. They grow out of it. But like I've even heard stories about how they'll walk into like glass doors because they've never been in a house. They don't know how to act like a dog. Yeah. They're just basically commodities, like a racing horse.
It's just it's horrible what they do.
It's gross. I know.
Yeah, it makes me like physically sick to do that. Like it. Ugh.
Like I feel like if people knew the shit that goes into horse racing and dog racing, nobody would support it.
No,
because they do awful. Like I knew this woman in Ohio that I can't think of what it's called, but they do the racing with the carts.
Oh yeah, with the jockey, but then they're
in a cart.
Yeah, it's almost like a chariot.
Kind of, yeah. And she said that her and her father used to do that when they were younger, and people did awful things to those horses. Like they would take raw ginger and stick it up their butts to get them to run faster, and like people would sabotage other people's horses. They would stick sponges up their nostrils so they couldn't get enough oxygen.
That is so fucked
And that's just like random stories that she told me. God only knows what else. And then I know with the greyhounds, and I'm sure this happens with horses, that if they're not useful, they used to just take them and shoot them. Like I remember one story, this was back in the 90s, when I first was aware of retired greyhounds, they uncovered like someplace in like Georgia or North Carolina or something like that, where these people were dumping thousands of dead greyhounds in these piles like out in the woods, and like the estimation was that with retired racers 20 to 40,000 greyhounds a year were euthanized just because they didn't run fast enough. It's gotten better. People have cracked down on it more, and a lot of tracks have been shut down and stuff now, thankfully. But so it's not quite as bad. But if that's going on with dogs, that's going on with horses too. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. It makes me sick to think that anyone would treat them like that.
I know.
They're sweet.
Just to make money.
Yeah, they're sweet animals, and they have feelings. Like if you have animals, you have a connection with them. You see their little personality and character.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're little angels on earth. Like why would
I know? It's back to the whole like children thing. Like they're innocent and pure and don't deserve to be treated that way.
Absolutely not.
It's gross. People are awful. Why are we so awful?
I don't know. It's like this world, there's just some really evil, sick people in it. And it's
garbage.
Have that. Ugh. No.
That's a happy note.
I know, right?
All right, so let's end this on a happy note.
Okay.
Tell me something fun. What are you doing this weekend? Or
gosh.
Let me guess. Stayed in the house?
Yes.
Me too.
Yes. I'm going to be home. I'm going to sleep in tomorrow. I'm so excited about that. That's my happy place.
Go get you a Black Rock tomorrow. Go get that lavender oat milk latte.
Oh, I think I'm going to. That sounds delicious. That's my plan. How about you?
I might do that too. I will definitely get Black Rock in the morning, 100%. There's one like not even a quarter mile from my house. I can practically throw a rock at it from my neighborhood. So definitely that's how we start our Saturday. Besides that, whatever happens, like, will involve not a whole lot.
That sounds perfect to me. Yeah. You can seem to be like relaxing in my eyes.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
Hope you have a great weekend. And
I hope you do too. Report back to me on that lavender. I hope they have it.
Oh, I hope so too. That sounds really good.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think you're going to really like it.
Thank you. Me too.
This has been a joy talking to you.
Yeah, it's so good that I talk to you in person.
I know.
I loved every minute. We had so much fun.
I know. I could keep talking, but you know.
Here.
We have to end at some point.
Talk all night long. 5-hour video later.
I know, right? I think the longest one I did was almost 4 hours.
Really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I don't know if anybody gets even a quarter of the way through these. I have no idea. And I just took off all the comments and I took off all the likes because I'm like, you know what? One guy made a really rude comment on one video and I'm just like, why do I open myself up to this? I don't have to take that. So I took off the comments. And then the other day on one of my videos, somebody thumbed it down and I'm like, what again? Why do I? Because then all I can think of is that one person that felt the need to give it a thumbs down. And I'm like, I don't need to know that. Exactly. And so I took that away too. My ego doesn't need like praise like that or to be made feel like to make me feel bad. So I just removed the possibility.
Good for you. I agree. I hate it's like, why does someone have to do that? Like, if you don't like it, just stop watching. If that's not your thing.
Why are you watching it then?
Yeah, exactly. This is, I'm glad you did that. You know.
It made me feel better. I'm like, I'm not going to, if somebody wants to tell me something positive, they can message me directly.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they want to tell me something rude, I guess they can message me directly too. But I'll just tell them to go fuck themselves.
Exactly. And delete.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much my way. But
and
here's the thing: 98% of people are fantastic, but it's that 2% that you fixate on. So I'm just like, I don't even. The 98% of positivity isn't worth the 2% of negativity for me. So I'm just not letting them do that to me.
Absolutely. That's the best way to go about it, I think, because then you just keep that positivity.
Yep.
Not let that drag you down.
Then I won't be thinking about it. I'll just be here talking to you, having fun and not caring what anybody thinks about it.
This is what we're about. We're having fun, having really conversations and topics.
Yeah.
That's the best
all
part.
Over the place.
Yeah.
I love it.
I know, me too. Awesome.
All right, Brittney. You go have a nice rest of your night. Enjoy that coffee in the morning.
Thank you. You
Report
too.
back on Monday.
I sure will. I'll be like, this was the best.
Yay, I hope so.
Oh, I will.
Cool. All right. It was lovely talking to you.
You too, hon.
Bye. See ya.
Bye.